What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Fast Life Podcast, which is brought to you by Simpson Motorcycle Helmets. On today's episode, we have FXR royalty and podcast OG Joe Kidd. He's on the podcast today. I was in NorCal. I stopped by a shop. We hung out, had lunch, chopped it up, had a great time talking with him and catching back up. Joe Kidd's been a big supporter of this podcast, our camp out, and everything the Fast Life has done for years. Just honored to keep having this guy on the podcast every year to spread more of his inspiring words to get out on your bike and just ride. So, like I said, great talking to him. If you guys can, please check out our sponsors down below: Simpson Motorcycle Helmets, Lucky Dave's, Thundermax, Arlen Ness, Lexin Moto, Cowboy Harley Davidson, and don't forget to check out our Patreon, where you can get all these unreleased podcasts and support this podcast, which was actually through our sponsorships and our Patreon was how I was able to go do this trip and get guys like Joe Kidd and many more you'll be hearing over the next couple of months. So don't hesitate to support. It's right down there. If you like these videos, please like them and subscribe if you haven't already. We're dropping a lot of video podcasts, as well as dropping our YouTube series now, vlog, if you will. We have 2 episodes out, working on the 3rd one as we speak. And yeah, let's get into this episode with Joe Kidd. Come on. Dude, we're here.
We're lit.
We're in fucking Lodi doing a podcast together, dude. Yeah.
All right. Welcome to my shop, man.
This is, when I knew I was going to do this trip, I did the worst job ever of reaching out to people. I just assumed that everybody was going to be like, as soon as I called, like, yeah.
Right.
And, because I had a list of all the people I wanted to talk to. And I just thought it would be, special. You know what I mean? Our 300th episode went by. I was kind of thinking of you quite a bit while we were doing that. And, it's Christmas and holidays, so it was going to be a hard time trying to pull anybody.
Right.
But this works, man. Like, I'm in... I just went and ate, met some of your old homies from around the way, and it feels good to fucking be able to sit here and experience your world in your world.
We see Nate Diaz do a drive-by. That's always kind of tight,
Well, dude, where do we start this off at, dude? I know you got a list. It's mentally, but I know you got one.
Okay, so, we haven't talked in 2 years on here, so yeah. I guess we'll just kind of try to fill in what's been going on.
Yeah.
I guess I'll just go right in then, man. The biggest thing for me right now that's been on my mind when I knew I was going to do this is just to talk about my riding group and some of the guys you've sat down with recently. And, it's just a whole different thing for me to be able to have guys that are down like me that anytime, moment's notice almost just, or even planned out, either way, dudes that are down, ready to ride.
Yeah.
So it's been the fucking funnest 2 years ever.
With you though, anybody listens to those first 2 podcasts, and all of them really, but those first 2, like especially when you had like Marty come into at the shop, I think people always really loved your passion for motorcycles, and not just the motorcycle machine itself, but the culture, the real culture, or Tanau's a real culture too, but like just how you came up,
old school culture.
Yeah, how you came up in a motorcycle family. You just showed me the flip book, the old photo album.
Yeah.
That, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. So I think what we say in this group I'm talking about is like we want to keep that old school style alive, We're like, do what you got to do, but we're not into trailering and like by any means necessary, we say all the time. It's like just you got to get it done. Breaking down still something that we embrace with a smile and not like it's a hindrance. It's like it sucks.
Yeah.
Do not get me wrong. I'm not fucking like it's not fun to break down, but it's fun when you're done.
Yeah.
At the time it sucks, and then at the end you got another good story, and that's like what we're into.
Yeah, when you figure it out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So you got to know pain to appreciate pleasure. And that's like with everything in life, man. Same shit I've always said, you got to earn it. Earning it always feels better. Anything that's just given to you real easy, you're not going to appreciate it as much. I've said that over and over, But I found guys that believe in this same mentality, we'll say, So the more adversity, the older the bikes, the more unknowns, the funner it is, And that's what we've been doing, man. So ripping the whole country.
Yeah, it's been wild. Like on this trip that I'm on, I sat down with Chandler Hoggish, and he told me his story. He told me his plans, and and that was dope. And then sitting down with Brian and just how he found you guys. And I remember that trip because, you know, that was when Wayne came down, you know, for that time.
I talked about it on the podcast. I met Wayne, JR. He bought a bike for me, and he said, hey, are you going to the camp out? I said, well, I mean, I've gone, you know, I know Jace well, and I will go. And he's like, well, I'm going. And it was kind of a big deal to him. So I'm like, well, fuck it then. If it's that big of a deal, we'll seal this deal we're making on this bike with, we'll ride them together to the camp out.
Hell yeah.
Well, that particular trip changed a lot of our lives.
Yeah.
That one trip. Like, it's funny how that happens, but it does happen.
And I've always tried to tell people, man, on like this camp out shit is, the camp out is not like that. It's just a good it's a good fucking finish line for your travel, right? Or whatever. But if you do it right, man, you can make you can make some real fucking homies out of this
I will know
thing.
these guys for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And a lot of these, man, I love most of them. I love them. In 2 years, we've developed relationships that could, you know, I don't know. I feel fortunate to have met these dudes. Specifically, I would say what come to mind is Chandler and Brian, both those guys specifically, because, you know, it's humbling, man. They like trusted in the message I was trying to convey, and they tried to really understand like what it was about instead of just hearing, oh, that's really cool or something. They were like, well, what's this dude really talking about? What is this? What does this mean? This older culture of motorcycling, we'll say, or like, you know, earning it. What is earning it all about, Joe? You talk all this shit. What do you do? And so their lives are changed too. I'm sure they've told you. You know, it's like now they're fully immersed in it. We all just want to ride our motorcycles everywhere. The industry stuff is fun. It's interesting. We are mindful of that. We pay attention, but that's not the most important part. We want to highlight the riders, you know, like, because I think that segment of motorcycling is the least appreciated. I feel like, for example, the hop guy, Hop's Adventures, 100,000 100 days guy. Yeah, that dude's the baddest dude to me. Like in motorcycling, people might say it's this brand or this guy. That guy's I feel like he's pretty unknown, right? Is that accurate? Or
I mean, that fucking that world of like basically making miles and stuff, like they live for those challenges, man.
Right. That's
and
what it's
you know,
about.
when I met him and we started doing that pod together, I was like, he was peeling back these curtains or these layers of these onions of that culture where there's people out there that all they fucking do is lay miles down like that.
Yeah, well, there's the guys, Panhead Billy that everyone talks about that's been on his bike
Scooter
for
Tramp
fucking Scotty. Then that kid Nick that was around for a little while. I can't think of his last name.
I think on that note though, it's like I do appreciate that and love that stuff, but I don't want to. I like the whole like stop and smell the roses kind of thing too.
They're doing it extreme. Those guys we're talking about. And another thing I wanted to talk about. I'm glad you said that, because the 1K in a day has been something that's come up a lot, and people talk to me about this a lot, and like that's actually, I think it's cool and everything, and I think they donate money to stuff or whatever they do. I think it's cool for sure, but nah. We're like 500 in a day. See some shit. Stop a lot. Check some shit out. Yeah. You know, like the first time I ever rode to Sturgis, I did it from right here in Lodi. I did it in 3 days. On the third day, I landed there, and I was so anxious to call my dad when I landed there. I'm in tears and shit, and I call my dad. I'm like, yo, I did it. I made the pilgrimage to Sturgis. I did it, right? And he was like, right on, man. How long you been on the road, you know? And I said, 3 days. And he goes, fucking 3 days? And I'm like, well, what? Was I lagging? Was that not good or whatever? And he's like, bro, I take 2 weeks to get there, man. Did you go to this place? And I'm like, no. Did you see this old school bartender at this place? I'm like, no. And he's like, bro, you didn't fucking even ride to Sturgis. What were you doing? Did you see anything?
That's good. You didn't ride to Sturgis.
Yeah, he's like, what did you even do, dude? Yeah. Like, you just were interstate slave, you know, just full on fucking 90 the whole way? He's like, nah. Check it out on your way home. Fuck around. Don't, whatever your most direct route is, don't do that, you know? Yeah. Which is, okay, let me tell you this story that happened after, this is at your last camp out. We were on our way home from Talamina, and I'm leading, and I rarely use a GPS, but out there I don't know it very well. Yeah. So I'm looking, and on the corner of the GPS on the screen, I see a fucking road that's super crazy, curvy. I'm like, fuck that. GPS doesn't even want to go that way. Google's like, nah. I'm like, fuck that. We're going this way. Yeah. So I figured it out. I got Joey Barella, Ruben, I got, God damn it, all the hogs with me. I think. I can't remember. I can't even go into all the names. I don't remember. Brian was definitely there.
Yeah.
And so John Beach, that's what I was going to say. John Beach threw me off. Jet might have been there. And so I see this fucked up road, and I'm like, nah, we're going this way. And some kid, I got to mention this kid. I don't know his name. Red Road Glide, Olin's, piggybacks, and all the cool shit. And he went with us. I don't remember his name. I apologize if you're listening. But we go to this road, and it's called the Indian Parkway out there. Mm-hmm. It's so fucked up. They were hauling gravel back and forth on this road, and it's got these 4 foot wide, the depth of a solid, like a regular curb in a parking lot, edges to it. They backfilled these trenches with gravel, but horrible, not level whatsoever. I mean, so we fucking tear ourselves up. The Borellos are they're pissed at me. Literally, everyone's like, bro, what the fuck are we doing on this road? Horrible. I'm having the same experience. I'm like, this is like the worst, and we've already gone too far. It's not like we're going to turn around.
Yeah.
And it's like the worst fucking experience. Like, we're on this road. You had to be there to know. So at the very end of this road, we pull into a gas station, and everybody pulls off, and they're like, what the fuck, Joe? What was it? We call it the Joe Kid Parkway now. And so they're like, literally, what the fuck was that? And then almost simultaneously, we all of us just bust out laughing hard, bro, belly laughing. Like the kid with the Olin's piggybacks, why I mentioned him, he comes rolling in, his reservoir's dragging on the ground behind his bike. Everybody's bags flipped open. Both me and Brian's tour packs we had on our bike broke to shit, broke down through the mount. It broke all our bikes. Joey's bags flying open, Ruben's fucking bikes, all of us, and we're so mad, and at the same time it was so fun that we all just started hysterically laughing and shit. And I don't even know what prompted me to tell that story, but just taking the road less traveled, I guess, is like the point of that.
Yeah, just find out, see what it is.
Yeah, and it sucked at the time. Believe me, I was on a bike I really cared about. Like I was not happy. I could hear all the rocks hitting up in my fucking fenders because they hauled the gravel on the road, and they'd stack these trucks full of this gravel, and it was just falling right off the back. So the roads, every turn has huge piles of this like fucking bedrock shit all over. It was gnarly, bro. I won't be going on that road this year, but
just take a picture at the beginning of it.
But you know what that did was like, it just made our group so much stronger. We all kind of had that little, these experiences. You go through some fucked up shit with your boys, and then you guys have that in the bank, which we talk about it all the time, and we all laugh our asses off still. At the time, like I said, those dudes could have socked me up. They probably would, but after the fact, they were like, I'm kind of glad we did that. We were laughing, And that's like, so I guess that kind of goes back to like my dad was saying, like, dude, get out there and get off the main road and check out some shit, So that's what we try to do. This last year to Sturgis, we did a dope ass ride through like Jackson Hole and just took a longer, more meandering route to New York. We added on thousands of extra miles going to New York just because.
Yeah, when y'all did that New York trip last year, that was like massive, 19 days, something like that.
It was 17 days. We did, me and Omar and Sean. Dude, it's so weird you get on here. I can't remember anyone's names all of a sudden. It just completely goes out the window. I know these guys so well, and I'm like, this dude. So me, Omar, and Sean on the last day, we did a 1K in a day just as a little flex. We didn't register, none of that, but it was all going to be interstate, and we were wanting to get home. Obviously, we've been on the road forever. So yeah, we did, I think we've said it's 27 states, and it was damn near 10,000 miles because both ways we didn't go the direct way. We went 40 up the Blue Ridge Parkway into Pennsylvania to New York, then all the way to Maine and all the way down the East Coast and back down the southern part of the country. So like we just did this fucking, Brian, do you see Brian's map?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that big pink one or whatever.
Yeah, because we saw Brian right after he got back. He got back, and then the next day he came and met us in Boise.
Oh,
last year on that trip.
Okay, so, I forgot about that.
And then all the other homies stayed, and me and J-Dog kept, started moving back west so we can go to Born Free and shit.
Oh,
so,
right, okay.
Yeah.
So I seen you guys out there. So that was like a fucking epic ride. And honestly, on that trip, that's when I clicked off my last lower 48. So
did you just need Maine or something like that?
Yeah, Maine was it.
Yeah.
And Chris Harry, whose house I've been to multiple times, 15 minutes or 20 minutes from the border. I've been there multiple times on my bike. Always you know, even the last year, the New York trip before, I went and met Chris, and we rode into the jam together.
Yeah, when we hung out in Boston. That's
yeah,
that
correct,
year. Yeah.
exactly that year. And I still didn't cross over into Maine. I was right there. And that's all I've needed for a while, for years, you know. I've been through all the rest, but hadn't hit Maine. I don't even know why. I guess because the furthest up there I've ever been is Chris's. So I've never had anyone I known past that.
What'd y'all do in Maine when y'all went?
Went and ate lobster.
Nice.
Yeah, buddy Jeff, wide fucking open. That guy come on your radar?
Yeah,
He's everywhere.
him.
Yeah, they just destroyed Daytona. He's stoked. He's like, that was a fucking. I think
you see his stickers on all these chicks' nipples and fucking with Sit Down Steve.
Yeah, Steve's involved. So you know, but that's because Jeff's doing the work to put it out there. He really cares about this brand, and he's fucking serious, and he's pursuing it. So his whole goal is to go there to Daytona and make a statement, and he definitely put the exclamation point on that. You know. That gal he had running around out there did a good job of fucking, doing it what he wanted. So anyway, he chaperoned us basically because that's his hood. He's from New Hampshire. So he was like, yo, you know what? I'm going to overshoot my pad by a couple 100 miles, which is, again, that's what we preach, man. Don't fucking take the fastest route. Take the longest route, you know? It's like, you know, bro, you do this shit too. So,
well, I mean, to be fair, man, like, you know, I shove a lot in a little bit of time to, you know, I try to make the most experience out of that. But
for sure,
you know, as I'm getting older, I'm wanting more of an experience on the road with these places, not blasting through places, like taking your time and be like, you know what, man, I think I'm going to chill here tonight, man. This place looks rad. You know what I mean?
Get in there and mix it up with the locals, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, it's just that. It's growing pains, but I mean, I plan to do this the rest of my life.
Right.
So I'm also in no hurry.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's the old bull and the young bull.
Yeah.
Instead of run down there and fuck one of them, you just walk down there and fuck them all, you know? Take your time and see it all instead of just the most direct route. So, yeah, it's just been rad to do this stuff with other people. I always did it by myself. I've done this shit. This is nothing really new for me. Some of it is, I guess, but having a squad of dudes that are just like me, I've never experienced that. I've come on this podcast and said it when we first sat down. I said, all my homeboys can't go. The money and the time, all this shit. I found dudes that have lives, have kids, have careers and everything, but they don't give a fuck. They really, it's important that you get it in.
They make the time.
You're damn right. They they make it a priority, whether or not it's going to put a strain on them in some way or another. They know it's worth it. And so that squad, we've been having the fucking time of our lives, like I said, for 2 years.
So what's been kind of like the main difference with that transition of going from ripping and running solo to, you know, now having, because I remember the first time we did the podcast, you know, you had Tony Love with you.
Yeah.
And I mean, Tony Love was making a lot of bad life decisions on that trip.
Mandatory. Tony Love has a way of navigating life that is unlike anyone I know.
Yeah.
Minnesotans, though, that's a survivalist place.
For real.
And he's learned how to do it. Yeah, the weather and shit, you know. Yeah. They make a good living, but don't work a lot up there because of the weather. It's like, I don't know how the fuck.
Yeah.
Tony Love's an amazing character, man. He's one of my favorite people. He came out after the camp out. He rode to California with me.
Oh, that's right. I remember that now.
And me and him went and destroyed the coast for a couple of days. And he was the most, you know what, man, that was like a super, it's not humbling, that isn't the word, but I really appreciated his takeaway. He called me and he said, Joe, those were the best days of my life. I was like, dude, you got it, really? And he, you know, shit will make me tear up, man. I couldn't believe it. He was like, that was like the best. Thank you. You know, that was one of the best days of my life, riding out there on the coast, my motorcycling life anyway. You know, he said that was epic. I couldn't have dreamed of such a cool time. And it was just 2 days, me and him fucking around out here where I live, you know. But, yeah, it was just so dope, you know. So he took the time and did it, came from the camp out, which was nowhere near his direction of going home.
Yeah.
That's the shit. Yeah, man. He has newborn kids. He has a wife. All your people's excuses, I mean, that's all they are, man. They're fucking excuses, you know. Like, you said it earlier today at lunch, you know, like it puts a strain on your life. But, I mean, dude, you only get one life. You got to get your issue, you know. And so, yeah, it's super different now because these guys are just like me. When it sucks, other guys that aren't really into this are going to cry about it. They're going to say this sucks. I look over at those two guys specifically. Brian, that's my road dog, man. That's like my favorite person in the world right now. And I don't think it will ever change, honestly. And that dude, I look over when it's hard for me and I'm struggling and it's pouring rain and we're going through fucked up weather and it's dark and there's animals and it's all the things that you don't want.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's up, man? How you doing? And he's like, give me more, let's go. I'm like, dude, bro, you're the best, man. He's always got all the tools. He's like MacGyver, keeps us all running. Detox is like our work truck. Carries all the shit, charges all our phones, fucking does everything. He's another one though. When it sucks, he'll pull right up on you when you're pounding out by the rain and kind of trying to duck down. You look over and he's beside you and he's just waving at you and shit like, what's up? Let's go. Like, dude.
He's loving it.
So how's that for me? Because I love it because now that fucking gives me strength in it. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, dude.
It's energy, man. Like when you're hanging out with other people that are enjoying it, it's hard for you. If you're a good human and someone else is having a good time on something like a motorcycle ride or a trip and you're not having a good time, man, you're kind of like, that's kind of some asshole shit. You're taking away their, experience. It's
I do love it wholeheartedly. Yeah. I just never, in all my life of riding, long time for my age, I never had dudes that were that down to ride, You got something going on over there?
Nah, just your mic's real low. I just want to might want to get it up.
All right, here we
go. Get it up and tighten it so it'll stay
right here, this knob?
Yeah.
Okay, we back?
Yeah, you sound real good now.
All right, good. Yeah, so it's just different experience for me in all this time. I've had homeboys that rode with me, but nobody that really was down to do it.
You know what? On that same note, I've ridden the country with a lot of people, but it's this notion of like, I know that I don't feel like this dude's riding with me just this time and it's over.
Yeah,
when you start riding with people, when you know that like when we get to the spot or when this trip's over, we want to hang out again and talk about where we want to go next.
Yeah.
That part of the friendship and the relationship is what I love the most. And I went through that phase where I was traveling with homies and then all of a sudden, I'm like, hey man, y'all ready for that next trip? And they're like, oh man, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it next year. Like it ain't even next year yet. And they already counting themselves out.
Yeah, right, yeah, exactly.
Which means that I don't think that they had fun on the last one. Because if you did, like, how you going to make a next year decision now?
That's how I've always been. How could you not do this? How does this not take full priority after the time we just had?
Yeah.
How did that not fuck you up so bad that that's all you want to do now? Where you're like, and that's my guys, man. They say, Brian, this year's going to be tight for him, right? He's in school. He probably told you all the things he's doing. He's trying to work part-time. So instead of it being like, I don't know if I'm going to make it, he's like, I don't know how I'm going to make it, but I'm going to make it. Yeah, and I'm telling you, man, it's like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, and you feed on that energy, and that's when I think everything works very well. It's like everybody knows that this is for life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And while we're on this trip, we're like hinting at where's next.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like when it's like that, man, it's like you never. If you're the kind of person that never wants the party to end, which I tend to be that kind of guy.
A lot of us, yeah.
Then I'm like, well, I like being around people that, while we're in this party, we're talking about the next party we're going to go to. You know what I'm saying?
Of course. So, I'm there. I'm at every spot I can possibly cram in, man. Like I told you today, I kind of got to I try to map it out what's going to be, I don't know. There's so much you can't, I guess you couldn't do everything you could, but I got to still come back here and make money. Money is the fuck part about that whole thing.
Yeah.
Make sure my money's good right there. I pulled it out at the table. I didn't know if I still had it in my pocket. That's what this place is for. I come back here and I take a few days. I try to build shit as fast as I can, still as thorough as I can. But yeah, that's what all these are right here. These are all means to ride, man. So you say that one of these bikes buys you equipment to do this podcast and stuff like that. Well, one of these bikes takes me on a vacation. Mm-hmm. So I got Sturgis right there on that one. I got Daytona right here on that one. I got the Camp Out Plus on that one, and then the one I'll ride is going to be in the back over there. I'm building for me. But yeah, that's what this stuff is to me. It's just a means to be able to continue, I know that in this industry or whatever whatever you call it, people are there. Some people, rare people, are there just for money. That's the old driving force. They just want the money. Man, all I want that money for is to just keep on riding, And now with these guys, it makes it more, it's more special, It's like I really get excited now because I know I got some dudes, these dudes trust the things, trust my mentality with this and this is all just coming from the people before me. My whole views in motorcycling and stuff is just coming from the guys before me. My dad was a you know, keeping it real, fucking keeping it biker, you know. So that's kind of the influence I had, and that's what I do. But then now I'm teaching, like this is rubbing off on these guys, and they're trusting me with this attitude. And so here they come. Brian lives in Idaho. This last year for the camp out, they rode here 600 miles the wrong way. Like, who does that? Who does that? People don't do that. People say, I'll meet you on the road. That's the best you're going to get. Not my dudes. They're like, nah, just chill at your pad. We'll come out there for a day, and then we'll all ride together from the coast, you know. Or going to New York, they came another 400 miles out of the way, the wrong way. And that's a long fucking trip, bro.
Yeah.
Most guys are only going to try to get there and get home, and you know what I mean? And we're on the road less traveled, man, and it's just sick because they love it and they're genuine, and I just feel so stoked too that they trusted me. I almost feel obligated now, which it doesn't matter. I'm going to do this regardless, but I feel obligated to these men that I'm like almost like I drug you into this. Now I'm going to see you through it, you know, like we're going to do this shit.
Yeah, you told them this was a good time, so you got to show them. Now it's like your responsibility.
You do this a lot, right? Yeah, so same kind of thing. And in fact, so this year going to New York, we've already planned. Brian he wants to go up through Oregon and Washington. He's not really explored those states. So he's going to come all the way over here again, and then we're going to ride this whole coast that you just took up to the top of Washington, and then across the state of Washington, the whole northern route. We're going to meet the Borellas up in Montana, North Dakota-ish, go to the Harley Museum, and everybody's going to check that out, and then take the ferry across Michigan.
Muskegon?
Yeah,
it goes from Milwaukee to Muskegon.
Exactly, yep. Taking that ferry across, and then going to drop down right Lake Erie right there, PA, and then into New York, go all the way through upstate New York.
Nice.
So last year we did the whole southern route. This year we're plotting the whole northern route, and this is for the East Coast FXR Jam. So
how has that been over the years as it's been growing?
It's great. It's always been so good.
Yeah.
The East Coast, because I'm from the West Coast, so the vibe is so much different, and I appreciate it so much more over there. We're just so spoiled here, man. It's like right in your face. When we do our jam over here, it's all guys from this state and Arizona. That's it. When you go over there, it's the whole Eastern Seaboard. Everybody from Florida all the way to New York, many different states, and those cultures change more rapidly. California, we got NorCal and SoCal. That's our two different styles, if you will.
Kind of different states almost.
They need to draw a line. I said that for a long time too. So that's our two different styles. But on the East Coast, that shit changes like every 100 miles. The guys from Mass are different than the guys from Pennsylvania, are different than the guys from Virginia, definitely different from the guys in the Carolinas, and then Florida. Each little hundreds-mile section has its own whole swag, and so you get all that together in one place. It's fucking dope, man. So the East Coast Jam will always be very special for me. My FXR Mike used to come from Texas, so a lot more people from the country would show up that side than they ever do coming this way. None. The only guys was Sean, Tibbs, and Cowboy, the guys I gave the Triple Crown to in Sturgis when we do that show. Those were the only three dudes from that side of the Mississippi that have come to the West Coast Jam. So out of all, I can tell you that that's the only three because nobody ever comes.
They usually waste it on Daytona. They waste their time off on Daytona.
Probably right.
It's like, I get it. It's a new event. It's happening right now. But if you just keep that vacation time for a couple more months, there's way better opportunities out there.
The experience will be 1,000 times better.
Yeah.
You're going to make way better connections with people. You're going to go to Daytona. You're going to turn up. You're going to have a fucking blast. I'm sure the weather's going to be great. The fucking beer's going to be cold. You're going to have fun. But you come to this event, you're going to meet people again that you might have a connection now in California. You might be coming out here in the next few months on a vacation with your family, with their family, to go to Disneyland, do some totally different shit, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with all that either. I preach this bike life so much, and it's what I live, and it is very true that that's like pretty much my only thing I love to do. But we all do a lot of other things as well, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, there's other stuff that comes up, but this is a motorcycle podcast, so that's what we're going to talk about, is the motorcycle part of it. You know, it's like, yeah, man, I want, you know why I push this so much? Because I want to see all these people out there, like the guys that in my group that I'm rolling with these days. That's how we met. They showed up, you know, like on the road. Like I met Brian in Albuquerque, New Mexico at a gas station. didn't know him from nobody, and now he's one of my very most cherished human beings I've known in my whole life. I love this man, for real. And so I won't get to do that if you motherfuckers don't show up, you know?
Yeah.
Like
if you pull up in your truck and trailer on your way to the same spot.
We're not even going to fuck with you, you know? How this started, the original thing, so we go to the camp out. We just crossed the state line into Oklahoma, and there's that Bigfoot thing. Are you familiar? You're familiar with that, right?
From Dallas on up in there?
Anywhere when you come into Oklahoma. Yeah, coming from Dallas, they have a Bigfoot at their Oklahoma sign. And we pulled up to take the group picture at the Oklahoma sign. And under my breath, kind of, right when we're putting our lids on, and mind you, we really don't know each other well. We've been on the road a couple days, but no real solid, like...
I remember that time because y'all came through when we were having that little house party.
Yeah,
and y'all came. That's the first time I met Brian and Homeboy. And, Big Trouble.
We came to Strokers.
Yeah, that's right.
First. I think it was probably first. Maybe it wasn't. It was the next day. That's when you guys taught me what hell yeah, brother, HYB. I didn't associate that. I heard people say hell yeah, brother before, but we were up there and some dude was rapping on his fucking straight pipes and you guys were like, yeah, fucking HYB. And I'm like, I don't even know. And I just said, fucking ask, you know, what is that? And you guys were like, dude, that's hell yeah, brother. I'm like, oh, fuck, that's awesome. And he was a hell yeah, brother. So yeah, that trip though, we pull up to the sign. We pull up to the Oklahoma sign to the Bigfoot to take our pictures. We all take pictures and lay out our helmets all in a little, you know, just took some cool photos and stuff. And when we're putting our lids back on, and no one's really been cracking jokes or like breaking the tension or whatever you want to say. We're all pretty, what the fuck, you know, like formal with each other, you know, like we're not like good friends yet. So as we're putting our lids on, I go, hey, you guys all don't jump off this curb right here. You're a pussy. Just random, my style of humor, you know. Put my lid on and I go first. I fucking bomb the curb, boom, do a little fucking jump off instead of taking the little easy little route down with the little handicap curb
ramp,
ramp, right. So I looked behind me to see if anyone even heard me or if they were gonna do it, and every one of these fools did it. I mean, Detox on the bagger, boom, bombed it. Brian bombed it. Whoever else, Moses, JR, all of us, they all fucking boom, boom, boom. We were like the original 5 or 6 of us. And so I say they're like my baby ducks, you know, like the duck right behind me. And we all jumped it, so that was tight. So then when, bless you, it's all good. So then when we get to the camp out, because I think we made it there on that next tank of gas. I don't think we spoke between there and there.
Yeah.
We get to the camp out, and then that's the first thing. I jump off my bike, and I'm like, all you motherfuckers are down. You guys all jumped off the curb, and they were like, yeah. So that's kind of where the group pretty much started, was right there. And then that situation made it real fun. We had something.
Well, y'all kind of clicked together, too. Set up your own camp, and you know what I mean?
Right away.
But it's like, you felt they all felt comfortable being around you because they met you.
Right.
You know, and everything like that.
I was definitely the common denominator between all these different people.
Yeah.
And everyone knew me, but they all didn't know each other or knew who I was. I met Moses on the highway.
Yeah.
Going to meet.
Because he was out of Salinas.
Yeah, Salinas, yep. Yeah. So he met, I don't know, JR. I feel like JR wasn't even with me. No, JR wasn't even with me yet. It was just Moses and I want to say, and we were meeting JR next. And then us 3 went and met Jet in Arizona, and then all of us 4 met Brian and Don in New Mexico, and then that was our squad right there. And I mean, it was like I said, it's a trip that changed all of our lives. Like, we are a fucking squad now. Moses, I don't know what he had a lot of personal stuff in life going on at the time or whatever. That's
I think he moved down to SoCal.
Maybe.
I hope he comes back through and starts riding again, man. He was a good dude.
Of course, we miss him terribly.
Taking photos, good dude.
Another dude that was down though. Never complained. The harder the route, the harder the weather, the more he fucking enjoyed it. He's a Marine, you know. He's built like that. So you wouldn't know it. He's such a soft-spoken, sweet kind of guy. That dude's a fucking hog.
I had met him like a month and a half before, whenever I was doing the same thing I'm doing now. During Daytona of 21, I think this was, I drove and through doing podcasts up here.
Yeah.
And he came out and had dinner with me in Monterey.
Right.
And we chopped it up, and been friends ever since.
Yeah,
so.
you know what? Even his motorcycle just always gave him trouble. I don't know if it was a Lemon, but that bike always had problems. It was brand new, and it was a CVO. He had 50 G's into this bike, and it just was a pain in the ass. I mean, we first ride going out, we had to fix his bike out of all of our bikes. You know, I'm on some old shit, and his is the one that was giving us trouble.
Yeah,
and it always was like that for him, blow by issues and sumping and shit, and just. You know, so I don't know if the whole experience just was not going in his favor, so he bailed out or whatever. But anyway, that's what started the Hogs. Yes, we all camped together, and so that was kind of like the requirement to be in our club. You gotta jump your bike off a curb, and you have to cross state lines with us. So then we've definitely grown since then. With dudes that have crossed state lines. The Borellas got in after the Joe Kidd Parkway, but they crossed from Texas to Oklahoma into Arkansas. Shortest route, but look, they got 3 different states with our group. Fuck that, they're in there, you know. I recently just inducted my boy Dwayne Matthews from Charlotte, North Carolina. I was just at his house on this trip, and we're bullshitting, and he's like, yo, man, I've done all those things with you guys. I've crossed tons of state lines with you and done all this shit. What's up with why am I not? I'm like, you know what? You are a hog, actually. You guys, so I had to throw him. He was our last member. We're like 20 deep. And that's the whole deal is to just ride, man. And now it's sick because these dudes are about it. Chandler, seriously, he like so how we met. I don't know if he even told you this.
You did, but you know.
Yeah. Well, so my take on it is we're at the East Coast Jam. We're partying. Everybody's there. And having a good time. It was the first night, obviously. So when you come in after the first night, this
kid's name is Hoggish on Instagram.
Yeah, Hoggish. That's right. Yeah, it's Chandler. His name's Tad, but he goes by Chandler. So he's the what do you call him? The service manager at the South Valley Harley Davidson in Utah. He's another very dear friend of mine. He just brought me this red FXR out right here, and we worked on one of his bikes. He's doing a twin cam build right now. We put that together. Well, we started it, welded in his cross member. So anyway, we're partying in this bar. That's the bar that's at the Jam, and there's this tall, thin, clean-cut young man standing there, and like I don't know that he's there for the Jam. So I go, hey man, like I told you before, I thought he looked like he could have been some kind of cop or something, you know.
Yeah. So
just to feel him out or whatever, I'm like, hey, we're all here for a motorcycle event. Like talking to him like you don't even know what bikes are. We're here for a motorcycle event, dude. And if you want though, you're welcome to join us for a beer. We all just got here tonight. We're all pumped up. It's the first night. I just rode here from California, and he's kind of like, Joe, my name's Chandler. I know who you are. In fact, you're the whole reason that I'm here, was his exact words. He said, I'm here because of you. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I listened to your podcast. You said, throw my life away and buy an FXR and ride it everywhere I can. I'm here. I did what you said, all right? I just rode from Utah to New York on my motorcycle by myself on an 87 fairly untested bike. And so then I'm like, okay, well, where you at with this? What's your feelings? Are you mad at me because you followed what I had kind of said? And he goes, dude, I'm living my life now. Like, thanks, man. I said, all right, good. I'm glad it was a good experience. Now you're hanging with me all weekend. I said, where are you staying at? He said, I don't know. I just showed up, bro. I'm just here. I have no idea. I just pulled in probably like whatever hour ago, you know? And I'm like, okay, yeah, me too. I said, well, check it out. We got a sick ass Airbnb right outside of town. If you're not staying anywhere, you roll with me. And he was like, you serious? Like, you do that? I'm like, yes, dog. You just said you came here because of me. Well, now, kind of what I said. Like, I wanted to show him the time. Me and that dude fucked up all of New York, from Woodstock through all the Catskills, fucking swimming holes. We're in our underwear, and that very next day, we're out there in our underwear, fucking in the river, just skipping rocks and having the time of our fucking life, you know? And again, man, it's like, thank God that, like, for me in my world, he don't know that. He looks at me like I did this. I'm like, no, dog, you did this. You're the reason that we're hanging out, not me. You did it.
You took the chance.
And thank God you did. I value that, man. Like, again, like, so this is what is the big stuff that's changed for me, is I found some knuckleheads like me that want to just fucking ride motorcycles to every fucking possible thing they can. That dude is such a hog. He rode to Sturgis just for overnight. Rode there, stayed the night, got up the next day and rode home. Who the fuck does that? Nobody does that. Nobody's that down. They just want to ride with their boys, ride all the way there, and they got to work on Monday, and it's fucking Sunday or whatever. I don't know what days, man, but they had to leave. You had to go back to work. Yeah, that's commitment, man. Be that. That's leading by. Be that guy. You know. That's fucking sick, man. You can't get any cooler than that in my book. Ride all the way to Sturgis to sleep for the night and be like, all right, well, I got to go home. Yeah. So I made it.
He's working at the dealership. You know, him and Young Sachs work together.
Yeah, that's right.
So, you know, dealership's a good place for people to work if they want to be close to bikes. But if you want to get out on bikes, it's not the best place to work.
Of course. Yeah. And the dealership is all about that money. Yeah. They don't give a fuck. They want you at that desk or wherever you work making that money. I worked there before, so I get how they are. I was the best and worst employee at the same time. I used to get reprimanded for doing shit for people like I was in parts, so I would be out there working on people's bikes in the parking lot, and they're like, homeboy, 2 reasons this is not going to work. Number 1, you send that motherfucker to service where we get the money. Number 2, your job is not to work on people's bikes. You're supposed to be at that counter making us more money. Get back in. You know, I would get caught doing shit wrong, but was right all the time. My customers loved me. To the biker that came in, they were like, Jesus Christ, a real dude that's really into this, not some kid fresh out of high school that doesn't even have a Harley that's like, hi, what year and model? Like, you know, like how the parts stores are.
Yeah, I need some windshield wipers. Okay.
Two-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive. It doesn't fucking matter. That's just, you're already pissing me off, you know. I wasn't that guy. I'm like, what do you ride? Whatever, FXR. Oh, that's sick. I'm already coming around the counter to go outside, you know. Let's go look at this. Yeah. Mind you, I got fucking 4 other people in line right there. I'm like, hey, you guys handle this. I got to go look at dude's bike. I'm out, you know. Fucking, man, I had like weekly meetings in the office with the manager of the place. Like, dude, I love you to death. I will not fire you, but you have to work with me, please. You're not dumb. You know what I need from you. Dude, just can you tell these guys to come meet you after work or something like that? Like, you got a party of your friends in our parking lot all day and shit. I'm like, yeah, man, I don't know. Just being me, you know. I'm sorry. I love this shit, bro. Yeah. I'm sorry, all right? This isn't a job for me. Some dudes would get out of there, get in their car and fire up their cigarette and be like, oh, I just want to go home. I'm like, I was the last person there. I offered to fucking sweep the floors and shit so I didn't have to leave. So, you know, I'd be there all day. Blessing and a curse. But, so going back to Chandler and shit. Yeah, he's just, I don't even know what I just love these guys, man. Mm-hmm. Oh, and I was talking about how he rode out there just for the night and stuff. Those are people, I admire that so much, you know. It's not a flex to be able to stay there for 2 weeks or whatever. That's cool and all that, but it's more so like literally to just ride there and turn around and ride back. Most people aren't going to do that. If you invited 100 people to do that, they'd be like, fuck no. Yeah, just ride there, turn around, and ride. Fuck you.
Yeah, but all this stuff, like what you're talking about, what we put together with the camp out, it's the same concept. Like it's, there's different strokes for different folks. Some people don't have enough time off of work. Some people can only, blast down there Friday and then they got to blast home Sunday morning, kind of thing. And I'm not mad at anybody. I'm just saying, everybody's like, oh well, Daytona, the camp out. It's like it's not the same. It's like Daytona's fun. Sturgis and the camp out ain't the same. Sturgis is a different experience, right? But if you really want like grassroots, I mean,
if you want to sleep in the dirt next to the bigger names, smaller names, everybody in this world, long riders, stunt dudes, every single person in between, that's where you do it.
We tell people this is like, there's no vendors. Yes, there's lots of brands there, and you do feel their presence, but the reason, like,
they're not forcing
how much money we can
though.
make if we started putting brands in there and tents and all this other shit.
All that tinted fucking, sponsored, whatever the fuck, I don't know what you call it.
It's money, bro.
Yeah,
that's money in my pocket.
Of course, right. Each space you could rent for $1,000 for the weekend.
Yeah.
Get 20 guys out there. That's $20,000, and you could easily do that for a weekend.
Yeah.
But that's
and
not
I probably should, but
nah.
But the thing is that
because the way it is, it's good. It might take that away, and you don't
want it to overshadow
the
people that show up and make it their event. Because I'm getting messages right now, like on Facebook. Of course, it's on Facebook. Hey man, what time are the events?
Yeah,
I'm like,
all day, all night.
Dude, the event is you showing up.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a...
When you crack your first beer, that was your event.
Yeah,
dude.
Did
right there.
It's whatever you want. It's like some people, like, we're trying to give people the option to kind of make their own journey here, and they still are so indoctrinated with the way things have been through every other event that they're like, well, what day should I be there? It's like, well, man, be here
There's
every
no,
day.
There's no pavement out here, Holmes.
Yeah.
It's you're gonna be out in the sticks, in the trees, in the dirt. Fuck your phone.
Yep.
Fuck posting selfies. Come get fucked up, have a great time, get dirty, bury your bike into the mud. Probably gonna rain and shit. Just have fun, man. You know, talk to people, whatever you want to do. Play some games and win prizes. You know, fucking get naked, fucking whatever. Yeah, that's. You know what's crazy? I don't think I've ever said this, but you can compare that camp out a lot to our jams. As far as that's concerned,
because I think that my first experience going to the East Coast, whenever we linked up that time,
when you went to Maggie Valley,
we just kind of happenstance rode through. I enjoyed that, and that ever since then, I've always wanted to do an event with that kind of idea in mind.
Yeah,
I was trying to push Joey to do something like that out there in Colorado.
Right,
you know, that kind of vibe where we just kind of mob through Colorado, but stay at different little hotels like that.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, I took a lot from that event. I took a lot from Giddy Up, and I'm like, well, let's do this and keep it like this.
Right.
And if you can get the right people here that kind of inspire other people to do it, then everybody will gain something. Yeah, there's some dude that goes to camp out that sits at the fire and he's like, nobody's talking to me. You know what I mean? He's like, I wish somebody would. You know what I mean? There's that guy, but he's not doing it right.
Yeah.
You know,
I never noticed it.
Yeah, dude. I haven't noticed it in the last couple of years, but there's been times.
Oh, I'll fuck with that person.
Yeah, I would too.
I'm gonna go there and be like, "What's up, man?"
Well, I did. I saw it. I was like, "What's up, man?" He goes, "Oh, man, I'm just, I'm nobody like all these guys." I was like, bro, like, pump that self-esteem up, man.
Check this out. Another one of our hogs is a kid named DJ. Who is DJ? DJ McCoy. So we're all standing around, and some of my boys from Missouri were there. I can't ever say they have the Orange Club, the Campagnados or something. It's just a small little group. Chip, my buddy Hop, and one of them guys was like this dude Big Chris, who actually got in a wreck now. He's in a wheelchair now. He's from Missouri. Big boy. And he goes, "Hey bro, I gotta introduce you to this guy. He's heading back your way. He's a 22-year-old kid that rode out here by himself on his Sportster."
That's the dude from Arizona,
yes,
right? Yeah,
DJ McCoy. He's our hog. He's one of our hogs,
nice.
Bro. Yeah. So Big Chris told me about this. And I'm like, all right, well, I got to find this kid. And he's like, I'll point him out to you when I find him,
That was 21, right?
This was the last year.
Was it last year? Because I remember he came to one of our events, our pre-party. That's right. It
was the last camp out. So I find this kid, and I'm like, what's up, homie? You're here by yourself? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, nobody, He's like, nah, man, I just rode out here from Arizona on my little Sporty by myself. I said, well, we're going back that way. You're riding with us. And he was like, you could probably imagine how I could come on like that. I'm like, you're riding with me and my homies now. And he was just like, oh, okay, man. Yeah, cool. Soft-spoken kind of kid, he turned out to be a fucking animal. He was doing gainers off these cliffs and shit. Not even really cliff, but a little watering hole jump off, Some kid comes up to us and he's like, hey, just random kid comes up and goes, hey, I'll do a gainer if one of you dudes will, because we're all tattooed and shit, biker dudes. And so I'm like, fuck no, I ain't doing no gainer. And this kid, DJ's like, I'll do a fucking gainer off there right now. Runs right up there in his drawers and hits a fucking sick-ass gainer off this. And then the kid tells us, damn, I was hoping you guys wouldn't do it because I don't want to do it. And I was like, hey, get your fucking ass up on that rock now and jump off, because you brought it to us. One of our dudes just did it. We called you on it. Now you got to do it, bro. Yeah. And he did. He was cool. He was probably 17-year-old kid.
Oh, shit.
But DJ, that's the wild card at that trip. Like, we didn't know this dude, and now he's one of our hogs. We partied with him in Durango, and just, again, man, just blessed to have this dude in the squad, And it's funny, you talk about like making these events and stuff. We want to do something, but we've only obviously talked about it just being in our group. But we're trying to like, hey, you said about Joey and them throwing something where they're at. Well, in our hog group, we want to do a hog run where we all meet somewhere. All of us go to somewhere. And it's hard because we're so spread out.
Well, that's why, and take this with a grain of salt, but we haven't really aired any podcasts, but I've been trying to say this a lot. If you can, try to piggyback off something that already exists. You know what I mean? Say if you started like it's a run, so maybe start it at the camp out. When it's over, you're leaving the camp out and doing your run.
Right.
That way,
that puts us all together
exactly
first, and
then you have and it's like it's the same reason like with the Born Free shit and the tour and everything else going on. It's like you find these events instead of like making a whole nother event, that not like I said, I'm not against making it a whole nother. I'm just saying, like, it gets a little easier for people to be a part of things when it's connected to things.
Yeah, no, this isn't an event. I'll say that right now. It's just for us and our group.
Yeah.
But our group, we all want to meet. Just our group, have our own.
Yeah.
Just a meetup somewhere. But we haven't even been able to navigate a spot because we're in Idaho, Ohio, all the way on the East Coast in Massachusetts. The hogs are nationwide. We're in Colorado. We're in Arizona.
Problem is that once you get over those Rockies, man, like there's just not much.
The idea was for all of us to go where we all had to go to somewhere. A long ride for all of us.
Oh, shit.
It's almost impossible with how spread out we are. The only place would be Pacific Northwest. We all would have to mob up there. But I mean, I feel like we're going to end up all just meeting up in California. But we all go to every event. You're going to see the hogs at everything, whether you know it or not. We're everywhere. We you know, it's funny too, bro. We call it that name, but the name hog, it comes from the penitentiaries where I first heard it, and it's a serious. I wouldn't call it a term of endearment, but there's a lot of respect associated with that word. Where we're from here, like my brother would know right away. When somebody in the pen is a bad dude and he'll just whip your ass and like you just don't fuck with that guy, that's a hog. This is kind of comical, but if somebody's a real badass, they're called a hog and a half. Anybody that listens to this at all that's been in the pen will know this and laugh, you know. But it's true. Yeah. Like I say that about dudes that are straight killers. Like if I know somebody will take your wind, that's a hog and a half. You know that dude? That motherfucker's a hog and a half, bro. He's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
So the name comes with a lot of respect, but then of course that movie and I kind of like how we did it. So that's what. You know, I say this wild hogs and shit like it's a joke, but we're fucking serious. I mean, it is no joke whatsoever. When you brought up the Los Pterodactyls thing, that's kind of a funny thing, right? Like, and when you even said that, you remember all that, of course, right?
Yeah.
It made me laugh when you brought that up a long time ago. You said, we had this group from Giddy Up called the Los Pterodactyl Boys or something, which is fucking hilarious. The name is completely hilarious, and it's obvious that that's going to be just a fucking around, real loose kind of situation.
We see each other, we start doing bird calls, pterodactyl calls. We don't even know what they sound like.
Exactly right. So that's fun. The hogs is a funny name, but it's not.
Yeah.
We're not fucking around. Like, and so in our chat, everybody has their group chats, right? And our little group chat, our hog chat, bro, there's more tech advice and shit going on in there than fucking major forums that you can find in the whole internet. Everything from flywheels up to bearings to fucking, we are all constantly building our shit, getting it ready to ride. It's a very, very super serious place to be, like to the fact that we moderate this shit. Like you come in there putting too many memes and fucking around. You were there, I think. Were you in Sturgis this year at the FXR show?
Yeah, I was there.
Okay, so my boy Sean, when I was giving him the Triple Crown, and he's like, I rode to Maine for a hot dog. That's like a thing in our group because we all had lobster and shit. Of course, we're in Maine. He gets a fucking hot dog. He loves hot dogs. That's his shit. So when someone has a funny quirk about him like that, then in our group, that's something that's allowed. We all throw hot dog memes at him all the time, you know, and like we fuck around. I mean, you don't want it to be so tough all the time, but I've had to rein in Ruben because he's just in there having too good of a time, you know, and I had to be like, hey man, look, we're fun and it's fun and shit, but don't get this twisted what this is, bro. And I gave him the whole spiel, like being a hog is a fucking, to be called that that carries a level of respect that you have to put out, you know. You have to be that, man. We don't give this name to everybody. And even though these guys you meet and these Chandler and Brian, right, you just sat down with, they're not gnarly ass dudes, but they're gnarly in other ways. Yeah. They're gnarly on a motorcycle. You can't whoop those dudes in motorcycling. They'll ride with anybody, anywhere, any weather, anything. When motherfuckers are ready to quit, they're ready to keep going. We froze our ass off on the way to the camp out that first year in New Mexico. We got caught up in it's the fucking pit of hell for us. All of our group, we always have problems there. And
it's like around Santa Rosa and shit.
Right out of there, the Tucumcari.
That's like the real Santa Rosa.
Tucumcari to Amarillo is the fucked stretch of nothing, right? And so Brian broke down there this last year, but that first year of that camp out, so many cool things happened, and they're all deal with adversity that tightened us up. And so we froze, bro. Like we got caught. bad, like cold, 29 degrees, you know, and no one's got the right gear for that. Or we had it, we just didn't have it on, and we rode. It's almost like we just rode into this Arctic cold front thing.
Yeah.
And those dudes, we pull over. Hey man, how's everybody doing? You know, you guys want to quit? And no one will fucking quit. No one will say. We all want to quit. I want to quit. I'm done. Like, I don't want to stay in Tucumcari.
You quit. No, you quit.
Yeah, but these dudes are hogs. They're like, this is the worst experience of my life. Let's keep going, you know?
Yeah.
That's just, man, that's the difference between like and love, you know? And that's what we're looking for, and that's what that group is. This dudes that love it. Joey Barella has lost his fucking mind. He is so spazzing out on this FXR. He is fucking polishing every single bolt. He polished his goddamn oil pressure sender. He is not fucking around, and that's.
Well, I see him doing the work too.
He is not playing. He's doing it all.
Yeah,
all of it, bro. Very, very proud for that man. What he's doing, he's gonna elevate himself in this, whether in it. Somebody getting it on, whether he knows it or not. It's just for him, you know. It's all going to benefit him in his life. When we're sitting around that campfire at that camp out.
When's he supposed to have it done?
Who knows? Whenever he's done, I don't know. There's no real deadline.
Yeah,
he's just doing it. He went.
Seems
way
like
beyond.
he got almost everything wrapped, frames done, motors all done.
Fucking around. He's painting it himself. He's doing everything, bro. Everything. So when we're sitting around that campfire at the camp out, and you get in those grown man conversations about doing these kinds of things, he's going to have a whole repertoire of shit that he's going to be able to get in on, which is badass when you can do that, you know? I love that part.
Yeah, you got to go through the grind.
Got to earn it.
To be able to, you know, have a pedestal to stand on around certain.
To be able to spit your little shit out.
In certain circles,
If you haven't done it, you had no business speaking on it.
You can listen.
That's it. That's right. Yeah. You're going to take that advice back
This is a lecture, homie.
That's it, man. Yeah. I mean, that's what happens. Two motorheads start talking about cams and duration and timing and shit. If you don't know what
start
you're talking about
what you read.
Yeah.
Oh, well, on this one forum on Facebook.
I heard the SNS 585s are a really good cam shaft. Oh, why? Because they say.
Because I heard.
Yeah. What about that particular timing and shit? Yeah. Is that a fast closing, a slow closing? What do you like about it? All right, I'm sorry. You know, fuck it. But Joey's going to be able to get in and say, oh, no, man, this is what I found this does this, you know, like, and that's just, it's just rad, man. There's a lot of facets to being a biker, you know, and a lot of that stuff has died off. I mean, Harley's made it so easy. This dependable, no leaking, computer plugged in motorcycles, right? So what's your first, you know, I have a warranty. That's what people got, warranty. I am my warranty. You know, I'm my warranty.
Yeah.
Your bike broke. I fucking helped you in an instant. Like, bam, bam, bam.
Yep.
I know what to do. Look, I'll do this with my Leatherman. We got you fixed. You rode that motherfucker in there. No warranty. You're going to go to Harley. You ain't calling nobody. If you can't fix it, you're fucked, you know? So that's another facet that people have lost, man. And I mean, and this doesn't go for everybody. There's still, but the segment's getting smaller and smaller and dramatically smaller.
Yeah.
If you stunt on your motorcycle, you have 100,000 followers on Instagram. Everybody thinks you're rad. They fucking sponsor you. They do everything. If you ride 48 states in a year, I mean, might not even, no one even give a fuck about that, you know? And like, we want to, I don't know, support those kind of people, and kind of like, shit, Hoggish is on a whole new level. He's trying to gear his business around that segment, you know, like kind of like all the way to the fact of stocking parts and things that might be obsolete, that are harder for some guys to get and stuff like that, you know, like considering the touring minded person, what is going to help these people, which is going to be charging components and shit like that, which most shops would have, but making sure that stuff
knowing
stocked,
what to do as well. Like when Brian told me the story, and of course they'll hear the Brian before this one podcast, about swapping the battery with you back and forth.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. So on our trip to New York, my stator took a shit. I brought a regulator, but I didn't bring a stator. You never really would, but I could have. I have one in the box over there. So I found one. I located one in Pennsylvania, which was 800 miles away from where we were. Yeah. I'm like, fuck, man. So every gas stop, I would get 100 miles almost to the T, and we'd pull up before you even pump gas, switch batteries, boom. So now he's got the dead one, I got the good one again. And we did this where he had it down, I don't know if he told you, but he had it down in under a minute pulling his battery. We would race. We had to make it some kind of entertainment. So I'm like, all right, don't touch it, nothing. Got your tools in hand, go. And we fucking go. He smoked me, bro. I built hundreds of these bikes. This little dude's got that battery. He's standing there smiling, looking at me with his battery in his hand. I'm still trying to get the first bolt of the fucking
Well, you
post.
start telling stories and shit, and you get off on a tangent.
Nah, hell no. This was competition, dog. Anybody that knows me knows when it comes to competing, I don't let girls win in anything. I don't care what it is. We're going to have a fist fight right now against a kid. I'm going to whip his ass, Anybody. Old people, you're all getting the business. I don't care. I always want to win everything. If you ever felt like I let you win, anybody out there ever kicked it with me, thought I let you win in anything, I did not. You won fair and square because I don't ever give out no love. So me and B are fucking racing, man, trying to take off these batteries. He fucking smoked me, dude, pissing me off. I'm like, how you doing this? 46 seconds or 42 seconds, like his record. Battery out of a bike. Like, it was rad. So, yeah, we had to do that for 800 miles. Then when we get to the jam, I'm out there in the grass changing a stator. Thankfully, I had dudes bring me. I needed a few tools, the bigger sockets to get the compensator and shit off. And I fixed it right there in the grass. And Dwayne, the other hog, was standing there. And I always tell him everything he needs to do. I'm always like, do this. You need to be doing this. So Dwayne had the best opportunity to just sit there and tell me everything. I would do it like this. What are you don't need to take that part off. And he just was soaking it up. He was
leaning into it.
Yeah, just drinking his beers while I'm sweating my ass off, just annoyed as fuck, but just knowing I have to do this so I can enjoy the rest of my trip. And Dwayne's just taking full advantage of that. Just like, yeah, fuck you, Joe. It's you this time, motherfucker. Because I have good luck. I think Brian also told you about us going and breaking down and meeting John Stromberg and going to his shop up there in Amarillo, and then he had to change his belt, which is another very involved job. And I just sat there and barked orders. I made him do it. I'm like, nah, man. I asked him, have you done this job? He's like, nope. I'm like, all right, well, good. Because John had all the tools, thankfully. And I'm like, all right, I'll guide you in everything I know, but I'm not going to touch a bolt.
Does he have a shop name?
John? No, it's private now. He does. He's a painter. He's a sick.
I think you reached out, he
wants you guys when you come on the tour to Amarillo.
Yeah.
He's saying the Harley dealership's going to be cool and all that, but if you want to party, go to his place.
So we're going to have to, with there, because it's going to take,
It's Stubbs, right?
Yeah. Well, the thing is that, like, each dealer is, like, putting us up.
Yeah, no,
like
he will.
Yeah, well, it's all the builders. Like, they're putting each builder, that's their sponsorship, right? To cover our cost of staying there.
Yeah.
And, I'm down for that shit, but not everybody on the thing is gonna, want to stay in somebody's shop or garage or whatever.
No, they would.
But
maybe not. I guess, yeah.
What we're trying to, what we're gonna have to do there is gonna have to be unique because we want to create a big party, but the dealer has to be involved. So yes, to get more like his brand and everybody else involved, I just think it's gonna have to be at some kind of like place.
His business is Lucky 7.
That's right. Yeah, he reached out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I thought of that. I was trying to think. My mind goes blank on here, bro.
That's all good.
That's it's not. I fucking want to, like him, I want to put his stuff out there. I care about this dude. Dude, that guy's become, I broke down there this trip on the way to Born Free. Ended up staying at his place a couple days. And he's fucking rad, bro. He's another real biker. He ended up riding with us to Born Free. And his bike broke down. He's a sick-ass painter, too. He's OG. He's old school. Ken Smith is one of his boys. Old school pinstriper. He's always in Sturgis and shit. He's another Texas boy. These are OGs, bro. These dudes are real deal, like long hair biker dudes. The kind of dudes I love, John's the best. Very quiet guy, but he reached out to me to reach out to you guys. He's like, I don't know if these guys are going to even know who I am or anything, but I want you to give it some validity. Tell them that to come party at my shop, it's way better than Harley. He's like, I'll put on a party for him and stuff,
Yeah, like I said, there's business shit to it, but like I said,
relaying the message.
Yeah, and I know we want to, like I said, I think you talked to Justin while you were out there. It's like we're trying to figure this shit out.
Yeah,
there's a lot of industry shit that's got to go on for it to like become this thing. It's a lot of work, man. Trust me. As soon as we said we're gonna do it, we were both looking at ourselves like, fuck, man.
What did we do?
Yeah, because it's a very, it is. It's a.
So he did tell you that we spoke?
Yeah.
All right.
I know everything, dude.
All right. Yeah, I guess you do.
But no, it's like.
Did he tell you what my response was? What he asked me?
Yeah.
What did he say to you?
Why I ain't gonna tell you? You tell everybody.
Oh, all right. I said, pencil me in. It's fucked up because I got a bike build in pocket and I don't do this. I even started this year hashtagging I build go bikes, not show bikes. And then you guys dropped this and I'm like, damn, the timing couldn't have been any better for what I'm trying to do. Look, I'm just going to put it out there, man. Everybody, everyone. I have a bike in pocket that I want to build to just destroy everyone. I want to go to every show in the country and get first place. Kind of like John Jessup did with his red and chrome bike back in the day, Stromboli. When he dropped that bike, you couldn't touch it. Everywhere it won every fucking best of show of everything. It was crazy. Even in not just FXR related. He would go to just when he was in there's something in Vegas. Some bike
they did a bike. They used to have a rally or some shit.
It was it was actually Jeff Holt's thing. I don't know if it was V-Twin Visionary yet. I think it was. Maybe it was still Hot Bike. But either way, John went to that. It was not an FXR show by no means, just a performance bike show, and served him on best engine, best fucking build, best of show, everything. So that bike's probably one of the more decorated bikes. Well, I got one that I think, this is just me, I think if I drop this bike, oh man, I actually have the concept of it. I drew it up. I never have done anything like this in my life. I don't give a fuck, but I do now. To prove a point of like my slogan for this is just because I don't, it doesn't mean I can't. I spend as much time. I built this bike from the butt naked frame, from just a frame. I built this bike from just a frame, man, naked. But I build them to look factory. So if you looked at this bike, you really wouldn't even know that I just built this from a naked, not one bolt in the bike. I took that frame to powder coat. This happened to be a frame that was already powder coated, but every bolt, every nut, every part on these bikes I did, but I make them look factory because that's my style, what I like. So same amount of work as if I were to build a show bike, but not the aesthetics aren't really there. I'm not using flashy parts. I'm not using aftermarket stuff. I use mostly Harley, Thunderheader, aftermarket seat, bar and risers. Seat, bars, pipe is like the trifecta. The majority of the rest of my parts are going to be straight Harley Davidson stuff. And that's just
a style.
A couple of reasons. Because I have that stuff on hand a lot, because buying it at swap meets and shit, and so it's cheaper for me to build it, it's cheaper for me to sell it. I've always been that way. But I have one build that's a full, what's the word, just for me, not to money, nothing, just to showcase.
Can't save it?
Huh?
Can you save it for another year?
So two things are going to happen with this. I am going to save it, or I'm just going to build it and just show up. And it's going to happen because. Well,
the whole concept is like this. So I'm sure Justin told you, but for people to know, because I already knew there was going to be something, because everybody knows you and knows FXRs. And so we were in a spot where it's like we need a validity from industry. Right. That's where our FXR division, our bare knuckle Pauls came from. That helps bring that. We're trying to bring corporate money in to cover things so that it makes it a real big thing, right? I'm struggling to explain it right now, but it's not
want to be on the same level that those biker build-offs were back in the day. I know exactly what you're doing.
We're trying to get it built up enough so that we have the money to pay someone to come in and video everybody.
If TV would even pick it up as a resurgence of those shows.
It has to be, you have to kind of carry it in the line of like, all right, it's not that me and Justin are trying to make money on it. It has to generate some money to pay for all the things that we want to do with this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we still got, we got the 3 dealers to cover all the hotel stays at every place all the way to Born Free. And now we're still trying to find another sponsor to cover the awards that we got to get, which we're trying to have custom one-off knives made for each builder and it's not a competition. It's not like,
it's like
you got the best spot.
They do in Virginia City,
We want to make something unique that it means something to win. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And, but the thing is like, yes, me and Justin are on it this year, and we don't plan on building another one next year. So it's like, this is like us figuring all the shit out. And then next year we gotta pick 10 more people or 9 more, and then let that group pick the 10th.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're just working out a lot of shit this time, and we're trying.
That's why I've been so quiet.
Yeah.
You haven't heard a peep from me. Of course, this is on my fucking radar.
Yeah.
Everybody's.
You don't say FXR without it fucking bouncing off something all the way over here.
Yeah, it's over here a lot. I got dudes passionate about it too that are like, "What the fuck, bro?"
Yeah, I know. I hear it.
Yeah, and I'm like, "No," and I tell them though. Yeah. So just know, even though you won't know this part, you don't know everything. I'm just it don't matter to me. All the way to like just friends of mine that are in town that just caught wind of this somehow, that aren't even necessarily huge bike people, are like, yo, isn't that your shit? You know, what are these guys doing without you? I'm like, nah, man. They don't know what they're doing. Let it just kind of figure out. Let it happen, you know?
Yeah.
There's dudes on there that I very much respect that would be rad as fuck to be involved with that. Paul, Big Chris, couple, Brian Chimke and Brian Clem. Those are like my favorite. Fuck Justin too, bro. Justin doesn't give himself enough credit. That guy is an awesome builder. He's not... when we were in Daytona rapping about this, I had to kind of tell him, like, look, dog, you don't take nothing away from yourself. You know, you're a fucking legit. You do sick shit. Like, look at your bike right here. There's one-off parts on this whole bike that no one in this whole world even has. What do you call that, bro? Oh, no, I'm just, you know, no. You're fucking good, homie. You do badass shit.
He does.
Much respect to that cat, you know. Like, he's a legit builder. He deserves... I put him up in the highest levels of everybody that's on that list, you know. I feel like there's levels to these people, which is also cool. I really like your guys' pick, too. I think that's tight. Ashley's tight, man. That's going to be good.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you like this. There's some dudes in that list that honestly needed to just be builders next year. That sent us messages. Yeah. And we kind of, you know, felt like it was probably best because we do plan on doing this forever.
Right.
As long as it's supported.
As long as it works, yeah.
And you know, Justin and I sat there. We wanted to make something that focused on what we're talking about right now, riding bikes. Right. Not just like put it in the trailer, get it to the spot, and send it out. Like, no, it's like what you're talking about is what we kind of feel like is going to happen on this tour. I feel like there's going to be a dude in that 10 that are going to break down. That's going to need us to figure it out.
I'm almost certain from what everybody's proposals are that somebody's going to have some trouble.
But, you know, the thing is, you know, it just honestly, out of happenstance, exactly what you're telling me is the hog members for you is exactly what it is in the group chat that we have going on for the builders, which next year we'll have a group chat. And there's a lot of rules to this thing. And the rules is what's kind of making it to where we can have, you know, sponsors. You can't build this for Sturgis.
Yeah.
If you take it to Sturgis,
that's the toughest part.
It has to be built from the moment you get, you know, you got to either procrastinate to the end and then build it real quick, or you need to build it the entire fucking 10 months.
That's what I was telling Justin. The timing is the worst possible because you have to fuck off a whole year of shows and stuff to just do this. Yeah. You can't be fucking around. That for me was like, that's the hardest part of it. That's the part that was like, well, fuck that's like
and we're still, you know, even Born Free is still, we're gonna see how Born Free treats it this year. We have other options, and it might make it to where we have a little bit less time next year to build this bike, but we have other options to end it in different places.
Right.
So ultimately, it's always going to have a ride. It's never going to be a who's got the best bike, and it's always going to be about hopefully trying to get all 10 of your class, your year, to make the fucking thing and finish it, to show up originally.
That's another thing. You think that, I mean, you're confident all these people are actually going to show, you know?
That was one of the biggest things.
Some of those cats I know don't really go out and about too much, you know? Like,
well, so here's the other thing, and we've kind of loosely talked about this. If anybody in our current build-up line hit a snag 2 months out, 3 months out, let us know, because we could find somebody else to fill that void.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because we want to do everything we can to make sure that, you know, if you get within 2 or 3 weeks, man, it's kind of like, all right, bro, you need to try. But the seriousness that people take it and the seriousness that's coming in from everywhere will also motivate people not to fuck up and not to take it, you know, not to treat it, you know, like, well, whatever, it's not that big of an event.
Some of the names I just mentioned would make me take it very fucking seriously.
Exactly.
Because I don't know that I look up. Yeah, I guess you could even say that. I look up to those dudes in some aspects about just, you know, I don't know, being involved and just doing so much. It's like you almost owe it to these motherfuckers. If you get put on a list with these guys, don't fuck around. Take that serious. I would. Yeah. You know, and I don't. Like, that's the part of my life. I always say, man, I just like to ride motorcycles.
Yeah.
I build bikes, yes, from all the time. I build all kinds of rad shit. But That's just because what the fuck else am I going to do to make money? You know, I'm not going to have no office job for sure.
Yeah.
I don't want to work for anyone else. I'm my own boss. This allows me to have all the freedom I want to ride. I'm my boss, and I'm very good to myself as an employee with time off to ride. So that's the only thing I know I could do to make enough money to sustain riding and have the time. Both things. So it's kind of like, and you know what I know from the dudes before me, you build bikes for your whole life. This isn't something you ever have to retire from. Everybody in the industry, Dave Perowitz is 70 years old, still a hog, still down with, Arlen Ness died, still current relative. That's just how this industry is. That's the one cool thing, that I don't have to retire from this.
So there's an aspect of, like, especially the younger guys coming into it need to know that, like, dude, I've been in this industry for 20 years, and some people might look at, I've had a lot of opportunities. I've had to sit back a lot of times and watch something I put my heart and soul in. You know, there's people racing around track right now doing shit that I felt like I fucking bled for to make an industry. You know, maybe not solely, but I helped. You know what I mean?
Right.
You get no credit for that shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I have to sit here and support it, because if I don't, you know, division and fucking, creating drama doesn't push the needle forward.
Right.
You know, creating drama is what pushes people out of things.
Nah, that ain't the way to do it. There's more tactful ways to do things in your life than do it like that.
I have two responses for some people that had issues with things, with our thing. One's kind of an arrogant, cocky thing, which I'm good at. You know,
tell them that you didn't know I'm doing it, so shut
you
the fuck up.
You know everybody that should have been here, but you didn't do it.
Right.
So why are you mad at me?
Yeah, let me do it the way I'm doing it.
Yeah, and secondly, man, I love FXRs. FXRs changed my life. I haven't had a chance to really do another FXR that really spoke to my heart the way that my gold one did. And I've had them, and I'd get one, and I'm like, this is it. And the fire just burns out on it. I'm like, man, it's not this one. I don't feel it with this one.
Right.
This thing for me is making me do something I've been talking about doing for a long time.
Forcing you to make
it's
that
forcing
D-ray
it.
chopper.
Yeah, and I've always wanted it. And there's a lot of sentimental shit going into it that's going to, make me it's not something I want to get rid of when it's done.
Yeah.
And I want to learn how to do certain things on this process. And so there's lots of it to it, but it's also like, we also wanted to pick people in this mix that Clem's never gets opportunities to go show off his work.
Right.
I
know. Because he's not that kind of guy.
He's not. But
he actually cares more about riding motorcycles than anything. He rides, bro. He shows up to everything. That dude's a hog. That's another hog.
I remember hanging out with you and them.
That term, everybody, huh?
Yeah. Whenever we all, me and Steve Chamberlain came and met up with you and them at their house in a Sturgis that year, and I dropped my bike in the road.
Yeah, exactly. But with Clem, man, since day one, he's a biker first, you know, he just happens to be a super thorough dude. That's just his swag. That dude's fucking the baddest. That dude's a smooth motherfucker.
Yeah, he is.
Got a beautiful wife, beautiful life, beautiful kids. Fucking he doesn't fuck around, bro. The dude shows up for everything.
His shirt's always ironed.
Always clean cut, just beard's always trimmed up real nice. I mean, B don't have step. He's a fucking awesome fucking dude. So yeah, guys like that's somebody I would fully be honored to have the opportunity to build something next to that guy and be involved in any way. That's the kind of dude that I'm like, because I admire that guy no matter what. I could never say enough good things about the man. I don't know anything bad. Not even a hair on that motherfucker's head is out of place for me. He's sick, bro. He's he's an FXR dude even too, on top of it all. Because anybody that's in this shit, oh dude, I got things I wanted to say. I'm gonna go right off on another lane here. So I own a new bagger now. I have an 18 Road King, M8 Road King. I don't like it at all. I am still 1,000% an FXR guy. 100,000. I rode that thing to Durango. I've been all over. I put about 8,000 miles on it. I could give a flying fuck about the bike. Doesn't handle for shit. All you guys are smoked out. Everybody out there, you guys are all fucking insane. If you think these bikes handle, you haven't had a good FXR. Mine's pretty cool. It's not crazy build or nothing. I got Olin suspension. I got T-bars. I got a thunder header and a saddleman seat and a cool windshield. The Olin's was the stock suspension's junk. That was a big upgrade. But nah. I was just really excited to tell everybody
I
about
remember
that.
last time you were at the shop, I was trying to get you to ride the bagger to lunch so I can get some video of it.
Yeah. I probably
We were
would.
going to the fucking Mexican joint down the street.
You know, yeah, man, it's just something I had to do, you know. You know what someone said to me? They said, don't you think you deserve to just get some newer, nicer stuff or something? And it really rung true to me somehow, or however it affected me. I was like, I don't know, man. I almost felt like punked by that. Like, what? And they're like, yeah, don't you feel like you deserve to like try something newer and nicer? Why do you always fight it out with this old shit? And I'm like, I don't fucking know, because I love it. I've rode all kinds of bikes.
It's familiar.
It's just, no, it's different. It's not the familiarity. I think that's why I don't like the bagger, because of the whole seating position and just the width of the tank. Literally that stupid. But every time on the way to Durango was the longest ride I rode it. Every time at a gas station when I would stop, I'd be uncomfortable. When I get off the bike, I felt like I was really riding a bike. My body was hurting, and my legs, my hips and shit. Something about, it's got to only be an inch wider overall than an FXR tank, but they're wider at the rear. So I feel like my legs being kicked open a little bit more, and then the boards being a little, I even took my heel shifter off so that I could slide my feet back on both boards, like mids almost. Because guys put those mids on those bikes, but really the back of the floorboards is damn near the mid position.
Yeah.
So it felt comfortable that way. I liked where my feet ended up after I took the heel shifter off. But bro, I felt like felt like a spoiled brat, because everyone I seen in Durango was like, yo, what's up? You're on that bagger. How is that? And every single person I had to be like, nah, I don't know, man. I'd trade you for an FXR right now, you know, to ride home. I don't even want to ride this thing. So yeah, I just, I don't know what the fuck it is, man. And I'm open. People don't know that about me. I'm open to something better. Like,
well, man, I just did a podcast with Max Schaff last night. And he's a old school chopper guy. He's a fucking 60s.
He's a skateboarder.
Professional skateboarder. Man, motorcycling is different for everybody, right?
Right.
So, you know, some people it is the bagger, some people it's the chopper, some people it's the FXR, some people it's, you know, it's whatever it is. But, you know, like ultimately what boils down to it is like your boy from Phoenix on the Sporty. Just he did the hog shit on a Sporty.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be, you know, technically easier on a bagger where you have less things to worry about, but ultimately when you're on the open road, like, you know, anybody when you're in that gas station in the middle of the desert, you know, somewhere on like I-10 or some shit out there in between like El Paso and, you know, like Midland, and you pass another bike or you pass another bike at a gas stop, and you're like, man, where you going? Oh, I'm going to Phoenix. Where you going? I'm going to Dallas. It doesn't matter what they're on. You're like, man, we're on the same fucking wavelength.
Let me make that point.
Yeah.
Being a hog has nothing to do with what bike you ride.
Yeah.
At all. Like some of the dudes coming in later thought that they had to have an FXR, and I'm like, no. That is irrelevant as fuck. We got dudes on all bikes. Jet only rides a Dyna. Fucking Detox only rides a bagger. DJ's on a Sportster. The rest of us probably all have FXRs. My boy Rob's on a lowrider S. Everybody else, Royal Slater, who was somebody I wanted to talk about, Hoggish's boy, our boy, actually all of our boy. Everybody in there, coincidentally, it's just a coincidence, I swear to God. It is not, this isn't an FXR group or nothing like that. We all happen to have them, but.
Yeah, with all y'all having them though, when they're around you more, they're going to want to be a part of that.
Every one of those other dudes is going to end up with one. I bet, because
that's how it works, man.
Yeah, man. Well, then that's all they hear all the day about how sick
they be like, man,
am
I'm a fucking Sportster and all these damn cams.
Yeah, well, they say like, you know, I'm going to get an FXR one day. It's almost like that David Allen Cole, I'll have a Harley one day or whatever. Harley someday.
Yeah.
It's a really good song.
I remember we were hanging out with you. Was it my backyard when you played that song?
Maybe. Yeah, I played that for you guys.
Yeah, we were at the house, and remember Aaron Coit was over there?
Yeah, that was at your pad, yeah.
Yeah.
Harley someday, and I probably played you guys Panheads Forever, too. And FTW and Renegade by the Smut Peddlers. If you guys are all listening, do yourself a favor and listen to Renegade by the Smut Peddlers. It's a fucking badass biker song. That one song alone will make you want to go out and ride a chopper all over the country and rob banks and shit. Do dope, but don't do that.
Gotta rob banks.
That's what he does. He talks about doing dope all night and riding all day and fucking robbing banks and living off the land and the people that he robs. It's a badass song. It's my biker anthem. It's fucking so sick. Renegade by the Smut Peddlers. I think I'm good. Yeah, so fuck man, we go all over the place. So going back to the tour though, I'm really anxious to see how it all goes, and I have a lot of hope for it. The timing, yeah, I want to say like, yeah, that I thought it I don't know, I guess perfect scenario, it would be early in the year. That would be the drop of this bike that you just built, and then you get to take it around off of that energy, right? Like that hype, and then carry that through the rest of the year. And then it would go to all the other events. Oh, that's that one from the tour that dude built. And then they would see it at, not that there's so many, but we'll just say like 4 more shows, Laconia. Even.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You
we
know
didn't
what
really
I
think
mean?
about
That was kind of like how I thought, like, and that's just, like, I don't know, just like an idea. It doesn't mean I feel that it's fucked up or anything.
Yeah.
It just, that would be cool. And if you
so
could
originally,
like that,
when Justin came to me with the idea, we were literally just going to do it with no destination and just build bikes like an online thing.
Right.
Yeah. And then we, after we helped out with the pre-party for Born Free, they kind of like said, hey, if you guys want to host something at Born Free, Texas, go ahead. And I was like, well, I don't want to do a show.
Yeah.
This was better. It's like a,
ride in.
People get to, because the thing is that like with all of us riding and everybody showing up to Durango and riding with us,
How'd that part come about?
That was something that I want to say that I kind of brought to the table.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to take credit away from Justin because this really is his brainchild.
Nah, but how the Durango part alone come together?
So I was thinking of a place that was 1,000 miles away from where we're going.
Yeah.
And so it was either going to be Smokies or Durango. And with us needing to have a stop at Strokers for the pre-party, it wouldn't make sense to go from the east past Born Free to Dallas and then come back. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if you're talking to the hogs, it would.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get it. Yeah.
And then we wanted to find something that was going to give the best bang for the buck. So I mean, coming out of Durango, like depending on which way we go to Pagosa Springs and cut kind of through the mountains on the way back.
Decent riding.
There's some decent riding, but at the same time,
shitty after for a while. Kentucky. I don't know if you have to come through Kansas or.
No, we'd have to do that. I mean, we could go across and then literally go through Raton down, or cut down through and hit the the bad part.
Yeah.
The Santa Rosa, the Tucumcari.
Fuck that. Oh man.
But see, we have like we got Sax. He's gonna be in a Jeep or truck, like filming and videoing and taking pictures.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have like a whole bunch of interviews going on at Durango with Sax. We're gonna try to make a little short doc out of this thing.
Right.
And then Durango Harley is gonna be putting in a ride-in FXR show on that Monday. So this people coming to this are coming to this to go with us, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Unless you just happen to live in Durango.
I mean, it's likely that I'll be there.
Yeah.
I imagine. I don't know. At that time of year, just like that's the tail end, man. That could be sketchy.
Yeah.
Late October is going to be a weird time.
It's like mid-October.
Is it?
So it's like after the. I mean, I think we're meeting up on the 15th.
I mean, it's. I mean, yeah,
it's tough.
There's a small window of weather right there and shit that like.
But like I said, next year we'll depend. We didn't want to create an event where we have to get our own venue and our own shit. We wanted to make this something where it's leading us into something else that everybody can do, right? It's very beneficial for everybody because now you're at Born Free, Texas.
It's basically like the same premise as the biker build-offs were. They would meet at a different location than where they were from, and then ride from there, unless I'm wrong, to Sturgis or wherever they'd show up,
Or the Smoke Out or something like that.
The only one I'm really familiar with that I remember at all those shows was Billy Lane and Indian Larry when Billy's bike had problems and Larry helped them build it. And then when they got to the Sturgis, I think Indian Larry cut the trophy in half and gave Billy Lane the half and was like, there is no winner. We both won this kind of.
Well, that's the concept,
right?
Man.
So
we didn't want to do
feels like that, that style,
And that's it. I mean, we're trying to focus on building cool bikes and then using them, right? And then all the camaraderie that comes with riding a bike cross country with your boys. You don't want anybody, because if you don't make the ride, you don't get the prize.
Right.
Like if your bike, if you make it to Strokers and that shit craps out and you got to trailer it to, man, it's it, bro.
Right.
Maybe if you want to if you got a boy who can kind of peg you, but you got to stay on this fucking bike to every stop.
Right. Your ass got to be in that seat.
You know what I mean? So, I think if it comes to that in something, like I think we're all going to figure it out how to make it.
That part is fun because then it makes it. It has to influence your build. You can't just do some.
That's why
full-on trailer queen. And
Brian was building. Clems was building a full
land speed
bike. Now he's putting a bigger tank on it and stuff like that.
He's got to kind of be mindful of what he's going to have to do on it.
Yeah.
So that's what Justin said to me. He said, I go, who do you think's not going to make it? He goes, if I'm worried about anyone, I'm worried about Brian. I'm like, not me.
Yeah.
That dude rides a lot. He rides more than all you motherfuckers. Like, he'll make it. Don't trip on him. There's other people, like I said, that who knows, I'm trying to think of who everybody is, but I don't know.
You met Corey, right? Main Drive?
Yeah, of course.
Corey's bikes. His shit'll be done here.
I love him. He's a great guy, but he's too predictable, man. He's too safe for me. There's no excitement with Corey. Of course, he's going to have something that's going to make it.
Yeah.
It's going to be all brand new and just like a factory bike. He's going to have another factory FXR. There's no no variable with him. It's going to be fucking.
We're doing some trade work in this deal, and he's actually going to let me go a little bit more out of his normal box with paint. So I think it's going to get a little bit more custom.
Good, yeah, I hope so.
Rennie's, I'm interested in Rennie's a lot because I like the premise, the whole Indian Larry kind of tribute bike.
Yeah.
Now, I think someone was saying, like, if you did some twisted down tubes on that thing or something, it'd be pretty fucking rad. But
you almost have to if you're going to be claiming that. Single down tube. Where's my clock? Single down tube twisted. I mean, that's almost mandatory. You know, chrome polished frame or something like that. I mean, you don't want to make an exact replica, but magneto and shit would be sick. I mean, I could think of a lot of things in that area that would be cool. But
right now, I feel like maybe you can attest to this. It feels like a lot of the style of the people that are building custom bikes in the FXR community, it feels very chopper heavy right now.
It went that way hard.
Yeah, think about it. It went super hard to like factory OEM.
Yeah,
remember that?
Of course,
it went from panels.
I've watched
when I came into it
thing, bro,
to like just original paint. Maybe if you want to get a little wild, you go with like an original scheme but different colors.
I always feel I gotta say I hate even saying this. I don't even know how to say this. I don't know that it's not that I'm responsible solely, but like the guys that I fuck with, we set those trends as far as. I've been running around the country preaching to people, I can have you paint me a bike all day. I can have anyone paint me anything all day. But to find a paint, that 91 tank right there is factory, bro. It's fucking gorgeous. That's 32 years old tank. That's saying a ton. And there's not a speck on that police tank right there. That thing is like mint. This is repainted. Fender's OG. This is OG. Like that shit's, you don't get it. You don't get that. You can duplicate it, but it's not original. To be original, it's saying a lot more. So that style hit hard. And now, I'm watching it. The choppers just like blend. Like it's partly because of your boy in Iowa.
Emerson.
Al Emerson.
Well, I think it's also like those cats that we met back in the day, remember?
Yaniv just did one.
Yaniv was badass.
Sick.
Yeah.
Chopper, very chopper-esque.
Man, we were down there. Me and you were at the Ace Cafe back in 2018. We both went to Daytona. Those dudes that were there, you introduced me to some of them. They had those like FXR chops.
I don't remember.
And remember Kyle Ray Rice?
Yeah, of course.
That kid there?
Yeah,
he's building a fucking insane FXR right now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
His first one was insane to me.
This one's, dude,
one.
he's just polished himself over and over again to the point where, it's like the builds he does. He takes his time, and I need to have the dude back on.
Like kind of the opposite of me. I just slam him out factory and get him on the road. I want him to work. Yeah. He'll fucking just waste all the time and energy and money. Like, I don't know where these dudes get their money from, so I don't know how they do that. I can't spend a fucking year on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
There's no way. Even if I build a show bike, that bitch is going to be done in 2 months tops. Like,
well, yeah, I mean,
I don't have the time to be fucking around,
Yeah, trust me, I don't have the money, and I need the time to create the money so that I can fuck around.
Right, of course. There's pieces of my show bike right around here. You can just see the crest of a fender. I don't know if you can see it from there. Yeah. Right over there on that shelf underneath on that lower shelf right there. That's a really special fender. You've probably never seen one.
It's a wrap front fender?
It's a front.
Yeah.
Those are like some of the parts for my build that I have the saddlebags outside in the back of my truck. Those are the piece I looked for 3 years, bro. 3 fucking years and actively looking. And I actually just random guy was selling one of the bikes they come on.
Yeah.
And I do this all the time, by the way. I got on Marketplace. I'll go around the whole country, spend fucking 5 hours on Marketplace, messaging every single person that's selling one of these bikes. And the bags are specific to the bike, so nobody's going to sell them. It's like buying T-Sport. It's like basically a T-Sport. Find a guy with a T-Sport, say, hey, will you just sell me the bags? They're going to tell you to fuck off, which I would do. I hate when people do that to me. They'll ask me for, you're going to sell me the police bags off your cop bike? Man, get the fuck out of here, man. That's the stupidest shit you could ever ask me.
Yeah.
But I'm doing this to people.
So on that same notion, that's, you know, when we make these Friday posts, right? That's the kind of stuff that, like, when you if you were to talk and tell them people these little, like, small stories about these products,
right?
That's what that whole thing is for. It's to create engagement, so people see, you know, so when they see your bike come together, they got fucking 10 months of you telling some story, and it might have been, oh man, you know what I had to go through to get these bags, and tell the story, and you can fucking tell the story. We all know that.
Oh yeah.
And so that's what creates this, like, engagement, and that's why we implemented that in this whole deal.
Yeah.
Because instead, you just don't see anything about it, and then all of a sudden you get this thing at Durango.
Yeah, you don't even know what you're looking at, really.
But then you see everybody's shit start to come together, and if you want to do a deep dive, you can just go through someone's gram for the last 8-9 months and see all these posts.
Hashtag tour or
hit the hashtag,
and just see all this. Well, that's this build for me, man. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Those bags have been holding me up for 3 fucking years. I would have had this thing built a long time ago.
Yeah.
One of the jams, the first FXR jam, one of my little buddies came up to me and he goes, Joe, you've been quiet. You build all your stock type bikes, but you ain't built nothing real fucking flashy. Or like, he's like, I want to have like a build off with you, you know, let's get down, let's do something. And I was like, and he called me out essentially, and I was like, yeah, motherfucker, all right.
Yeah.
So then I got all fired up to do it. Then I've had this build in mind for years and years, for probably about 7 or 8 years, and that's what's crazy too. It'll still destroy. Nothing's ever been built like it. And I've had it on the back burner. There's another piece of it up on top of that truck right there, way up in the front where you can't see. But it's a mashup of about 4 different models of Harleys, a couple of them very specific even. And back to my story, I messaged this guy about these bags on one of these bikes. And I said, hey man, I'll tell you what they are. They're Dyna Switchback. Stupid ass Dyna Switchback. They made it maybe 3 years, but not very many years. There's not very many of them. And so it has very specific, they're touring bags, but smaller in every dimension, or more narrow, more short.
Yeah.
Dyna Switchback. I swear to God, I've asked 50 people if they'd sell me their bags, and they all say, no, you buy the bike, I'll sell you the bike. I'm not selling you these bags off. They go to this bike.
Yeah.
I fucking just the other day, within the last month, messaged a guy again. This is like hurting my pride, man. I like feel like a fucking dumbass, you know. Hey man, would you sell me those bags? He goes, what are you offering? I said, I'll give you $500 for them. He said, all right, meet me up out here in San Jose. And I'm like, really? For real? Is this gonna happen? The Okie Cockfighter dude on Instagram, he's a big time part. He does Sullivan's Used Parts. He's out of Oklahoma. I went to his shop before and he had like pieces of them and shit. And I'm like, yo, you got these bags, man? He got tons of shit. And he's like, well, I don't have them, but I have leads on them. And if I find a set, I'll get them for you. Probably 2 years ago, he's like, yeah, I'm coming to Cali with a bunch of parts. I'll bring, I got those bags if you want them. Never panned out, never came to fruition. I'm like, God damn, I've been hunting for these fucking bags, bro. And this guy the other day was just like, yeah, man, I'll take 500. Come meet me in San Jose. I go out there, get the bags, bro. Fucking, it's it. That's all I needed. That was the last fucking piece. And I want to have Steve make me some side covers.
Nice.
I don't even want to talk about this too much because it's going to put you guys in the direction of what I'm doing. But I don't want no one to know, because just in case I end up on this tour, I want to fucking make sure I don't spoil it all. I want to give some. But yeah.
You want to do everything not in the rule book and then show up and ride with us still? Not posting about it, not doing that.
No. This would be next year.
Okay.
Because I'm not in a rush. It's been a long time anyway, so I'm not necessarily in a rush. Dude, it's crazy, bro. There's a lot to my build. And it may not even translate as well when it's all done, because you never know. You never know. In my world, it's going to be the baddest shit ever. And what I know of what I'm putting on it is all shit you just cannot get. No one will have it. It's going to be the most rare, obsolete motorcycle that looks like a factory Harley that anyone's ever pulled out, as far as I know. And I've been waiting for someone to duplicate it or do something like close to it. Like biting my nails, like, oh fuck, man, I hope that this doesn't happen before I get to do it, because that would just suck, you know.
Yeah,
That would ruin the whole thing of what I want to do. It will have a turbo on it as well. That's what I mean. I'm coming to slay, bro. Fucking wheels you can't get, brake rotors you can't get. No one has this shit. No one will have it. I don't care. There will not be nothing else like it. It would have been dope to have it work out in this, but I have no ill wills or any weird shit like that. You know, I don't give a fuck. My life is so good. I have no time to fucking be mad about anything. It would have just been really cool, you know, for me to, like, it would have provoked me a lot too to fucking finally do this, because this has been a long time and I have nothing to gain. If I were to try to sell this bike when this one's done, I'm gonna want way above $50,000, you know. So I think them turbos on my deal is gonna be fucking over $4,000. So I mean, that alone. But yeah, it's gonna be sick, bro. Fuel injected, fucking
twin cam or Evo?
Yeah, no, twin cam.
Yeah,
it's gonna.
You're saying too much.
I know, man. The trophy, I don't care. Fuck it. It don't matter. It ain't. No one's gonna know anyway. The biggest trophy that I'm gonna get with this bike is if I pull up to some show, and they tell me I'm in the wrong class. How about that?
There you go.
If they say, no, this doesn't belong here, and I'm like, no, it does, and they're like, nah, dog, those guys are over there, and I want to be like, no, this is this guy's, bitch. Like, you know, that'll be pulling off what I'm trying to pull off.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, oh fuck, okay, cool.
So how do you feel about FXR show of the years? How, like, some of the changes? We haven't talked since Joe made the changes. How we do the awards and stuff now.
Oh no, that's the best ever.
Yeah,
that's
I
mandatory.
agree.
That's the best shit. That's the best award premise of any show I've ever been to. I don't know if anyone else does it like that. I haven't noticed it, but that is the shit.
So when we started doing the things at the camp out, that's kind of where that came from.
Okay, yeah.
So, like, I try to tell people,
that
man,
was just
like,
last year, really. That
we did. But that's the year before was when that stuff started. Whenever I did a trophy, you did a trophy.
Too. Yeah.
I met Hans and everything like that. So it's like, I go to these events and I find these things that I think are an amazing idea, and I bring them back to our camp out to make it better.
Yeah.
So it's a bunch of experiences that have been awesome rolled up into one, and that's what
I think that's so fucking cool, man. When he did it that first year and he introduced all of us and shit, like, that was fucking badass. I really liked that, and that was also like what I say about the camp out and about the tour and stuff, is that was a wide range of people. There was some hitters, serious people in there, and there was random ass people in there.
Just want to show up and see everybody.
Yeah, Natalie, like she has a presence, but it's not like she's some big bike builder or some big entity in this industry, but she always has the dopest trophy. When you win her award, you get something fucking super cool. I think last year she made something out of her own barn, reclaimed wood and shit. I'm like, dude, I wrote on a side cover. But also from that first year, the weird thing that happened for me is I ended up with my own spin on it. That's where we now crown the Triple Crown people.
Oh,
that's
nice.
the last run. So
how did the Triple Crown come about? Is that something that you put together?
No.
Okay.
This is from years ago. This is from Facebook.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I think B wanted to talk about it too, but he doesn't even know the infancy of it, I think. So it came from Facebook, which was where we were all real heavy with the FXR thing. That's where the jam started. And a lot of, I could say a lot. I want to try and stay on point with this. So it all was on Facebook. The West Coast Jam was the first one. This will be our 10th, or East Coast, I'm sorry. The East Coast Jam was the first one. This will be our 10th year this year, consecutive of the East Coast Jam. So 10 years ago on Facebook, some dudes, we were all on this forum on Facebook. Everybody's putting their little input. One day a guy finally said, hey man, let's break away from the internet and let's meet in person. Let's just have a meetup at a spot. Okay, where? One guy finally piped up and said, hey, let's do it in Maggie Valley, North Carolina. It's fucking sick there. I go there all the time. It's very biker-friendly place. So Wheels Through Time and all that. We're like, fuck it, let's go. So I didn't go to the first one. I kind of sat back and waited to see how this was going to pan out. Well, group of maybe 20 dudes, 50 dudes met up, had a fucking blast, super jealous. That was one of those serious FOMO where I'm just like, oh my God, I should have went. But I didn't know if anyone was even going to show up. It was just a bunch of shit talking. Like, show up, motherfucker. Like, don't fuck keyboard bullshit. Let's all meet in person and shake hands and see what's up. We'll go ride, see who's the fastest, who's got the best best shit? Who got the coolest bikes? We'll see. There ain't gonna be no hiding and stealing pictures and doing bullshit, lying and shit. We're gonna really fucking pull your covers and shit. So they did, and it was rad, man. It was like the best deal ever. So the next year I went from the second year. So I've been to 8 of them. I've been all of them since the second one. And that's John Jessup went out there for his first time finally, and that's when he came back, and that's what spawned the West Coast Jam. You guys even said it on there on the podcast. Maybe a lot of people think that Nick's like was the responsible for the West Coast. He was the place for to promote it, and I think he's taken over for sure now as far as just being I guess I don't know what you'd call it, but just
ambassador for it.
Yeah, exactly, ambassador for it, exactly. So, but it really was John that went to the East Coast Jam and was like, "Fuck, we have to do this on the West."
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he had came out and just changed him up. So there was that, and then there was a run before even the East Coast Jam called the FXRs of California show that was put on by Dana Levine.
Yeah, I met her at one of John's. When me and my wife drove up here.
Okay, she's fucking badass. Yeah. She's that's an FXR girl. She's the one.
I hadn't seen her. Where's she been?
She's doing her thing. You know, she had a lot of things happen over these last years and stuff with her daughter with the cancer and that stuff, and not just that, but moving and just grooving. She got in a bad wreck. It was really hard for her to recover. She broke some shit bad. Slow healing, man. She had a lot of problems healing out from that. Kind of took a lot of wind out of her sails. I'm sure. I know it did. I mean, I've seen it happen. She was splitting lanes and got smashed up and just got fucked up. And kind of, bummed her out and shit. But she's still around. I mean, she's one of us forever. You know, she's done a lot. She had done more for that community and FXR stuff than anybody I had ever known. So she started a run called the FXRs of California run. That page was called the FXRs of California page on Facebook. And that's what got me into FXRs. That's what I was talking about when I first came on here. I rode to her run on a Dyna, and those dudes on FXRs fucking smoked me, and that's what turned me out on it. I went right home and got an FXR. I knew about them. I knew everybody in the scene. I had always been around them, but I wasn't getting rid of my Dyna because I thought it was newer, twin cam, better, more modern. I wasn't influenced, but I went on that ride, and that's what changed me, and that was her run. That was even before the East Coast Jam. So you have the FXRs of California run, you had the East Coast Jam, and I think Joe, his run, this is its 10th year, or last year was the 10th.
Last was.
Right. So he's been having his since then. And I've gone to all his except the first one as well. So I've been to 9 of his as well since it was in the park where he first had it.
Yeah.
Sturgis City Park, I think it's called. Went from there to the drag strip, went to the Buffalo Chip outside that one year when you brought your bike, and now we're inside in the Buffalo Chip for 3 years or 3 years now. I think it's been 3. So I've been to all these shows since their infancy, all of these. So there was Joe's, the FXRs of California show, and there was the East Coast Jam. And then on that FXRs of California forum on Facebook again, another guy was like, hey, man, somebody, it'd be rad to ride to all 3 of these. And then they just called it the Triple Crown. I couldn't even tell you who did this, who started this. There was 3,000 people in this forum. So somebody said that, and me, see our poster back there?
Oh, yeah.
That big poster, that's 10,000 miles to glory, it says on the bottom. That's the first Triple Crown right there, and it was in 2016. So what was that? 7 years ago we did it. And that was me, John, Lump, and Clint were the 4 of us at the bottom. So that was the first actual completion of this Triple Crown. Yeah. That's where it came from. But then the FXRs of California run stopped directly after that, so it dried up for a minute. There wasn't a third location.
I think 19 was the last year.
I would even say 18, even if 17 or 18.
Because I remember John's FXR, the one we were talking about earlier, came out to that. So
it might have been 18, 17 or 8. It would have been. It wasn't into 19.
Definitely because 18. Because I came and saw it here.
We've had the West Coast Jam in 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah, it wasn't. It was done.
17.
It was done. It was done before then. It was done the year after this. They just didn't have it anymore. A lot of the club politics stuff, I guess, came about. They wanted it used to be free, and then they went to the drag strip, then they started charging money, and the commercialization kind of fucked it up.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like that in the original. It was just show up to Port Costa the next year, I don't remember, and then they moved it to the drag strip, and then a lot of people wanted to get involved with money. Chopper guys and their people were there. I don't know, man. That's the shit I just, me, I stay away from all that shit.
So this year at our camp out, it's going to be the same way it's been. But next year, I I had a long talk with them, and it's not really about me making any money because I'm technically not going to be making any still, but they're going to start doing wristbands at the camp out because so many people show up, and they can't keep track of if people paid or not.
Right.
So it's just easier if everybody got a bright orange wristband on.
Yeah. So and so the colors, or I can bring mine.
I'll show you what the eBay store is. But yeah, it'll go through like when you go to the thing to pay your camping fees, they'll give you a wristband.
Yeah, for sure, they should do that.
And but Adam, dude, that remember this year or last year they had that big pavilion they put there?
Yeah.
Well, now it's concreted.
Oh wow!
And then so like every year they're putting another
upgrade
10
a little bit.
Right now they're trying to carve out some land and get confirmations from King Tony. He's gonna try to do some stunt shows there, so he's gonna pour a slab big enough so people come out there and do straight shit like that.
You know what he needs? If you want to get naked girls, we need a swimming pool out there.
We got to get girls to come first.
I know. I tease about that all the time.
There's actually last year was probably the most girls that's ever came that weren't connected to a dude.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. A couple girls on their own came. We had that Amy Canada girl there and shit. So check it out. So the Triple Crown, I want to talk more about this because a lot of people don't even know what the fuck this really is. So then it finally, with the West Coast Jam being a solid thing now we have 3 solid destinations: East Coast, West Coast, and Sturgis. So that's what that is. We've devised some kind of rules for it and stuff. It is on it is FXR only. Kind of the point of like keeping that old shit alive, like doing it on FXR. It's the way to do it. No trailering, no bullshitting. Wherever you start from, you can only go from further. You can't like fly to California and ride a couple 100 miles to the Cali one and then fly to New York and ride a few 100 miles. That's not the way it works. You need to cover the whole premise. Why it's cool is because one's on the east, one's on the west, and one's on the middle. In the middle. So no matter where you live, you have a long one, a short one, and a medium one. It's the whole deal. If you're on the East Coast, you get a short one to the East Coast and a long one to the West Coast. And then the Sturgis is right in the middle for everybody. Yeah. So if you're on the West Coast, you get a long one to the West, or a short one to the West Coast, long one to the East Coast, and the Sturgis in the middle. Kind of makes it fair. If you're in the middle, you get a medium one and a medium one and a short one. But no matter where you're at, it's going to be the same mileage for everybody that gets involved.
Yeah, I think the New York one and the West Coast one is the same distance for us in Dallas.
Yeah, right. So
Dallas
it's
like 17 and 17 and then 11.
Good example. You don't have a real close one.
Yeah.
Like this one is 2 hours from here.
Yeah.
It's right here.
I thought Brian probably had a good run, or even probably Chandler if he was going to do it, because you got Sturgis.
Yeah.
And he has 2 events he can make in a day.
Yeah, right.
And then only one that's really going to be
is going to be a hike.
It's going to be a rip.
I mean, you're going to earn it no matter what. So yeah, they're in a better vantage, I guess. But like for Brian, the respect, like out of that, those guys you can't count because they don't take the least.
Yeah.
They're not ones that have to worry about that situation.
They didn't go the straight route. But
there's other shitheads that have been messaging us trying to fucking be lame.
Yeah.
What if I flew in, and I just show up on my bike? I'm like, no, that doesn't. You're missing the fucking point, man. You have to ride from. That's why we've made it a rule that wherever your original starting point is, that's now your point.
People don't understand that like some of these challenges or some of these like things are supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be easy.
No shit.
If it was easy and everybody would do it, nobody would want it.
There's nothing to be proud of.
Yeah.
I say this all the time. It's one of my little analogies. If you climb a small ass hill and put your flag up there, you're going to be proud of that. That's like what you want. You have to fucking earn it, man. Yeah. The higher and the harder and the worse it was, you're going to really put your flag at the top of that giant mountain and be like, I fucking did that, Yeah. That's the whole point. They're missing the fucking point. And the point ain't for nobody else but you.
Yeah.
Like you're only the one that's going to benefit from it. I just acknowledge you at the end, but really it's you did it for yourself. And it's not, there's nothing to gain. There's no money. There's no sponsor. There's no nothing. It costs you money. It costs you time. And you're gonna
gain respect.
For yourself and from everybody else. So that's the Triple Crown. And so, at the Sturgis is the last show. And when we were gonna give out our awards, I practiced at the West Coast Jam because I knew that we were when Joe proposed that to us. So I did a practice run at West Coast. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pick a bike out of these bikes. Yeah, right. I could not, and I couldn't. I'm not even playing around at all. I'm not even trying to be funny, bro. I couldn't pick. I like that one. It literally was like that. It was pissing me off.
Yeah.
Like, I got to pick a one fucking bike out of this. It could not. It was like a damn.
Who'd you pick that year? That first year, 21.
The 3 guys. I promoted them with I gave them the Triple Crown.
That's right.
That's what I mean. I can't pick no one's one bike. You guys all pick a one bike, kind of negotiate, because a lot of us will pick the same bike. So we kind of, amongst ourselves, will kind of say, hey, I'm going to take that one, you take that one. You know what I mean? You got to delegate the bikes. We're we could, I guess, but it wouldn't be as good. You know, there's a lot of people that deserve Dennis, Punt, and like.
Yeah, he's one of the ones.
Fuck yeah, he's sick.
He's one of the ones that emailed
that
in and was like, bro,
saved.
come on, dude, you're gonna make us all look bad.
Yeah. He does. He's sick.
He's definitely one I played in
Dennis
next year.
is the homie, super solid dude. He's out of Colorado, so you know he deserves that bike you picked. Obviously, last year we all picked Corey's bike. Like, you know, all these bikes. The first year we picked that V-Rod. It had a V-Rod motor in it, crazy thing that Joe had. Guy had won the frame at the other show from Joe, and it was like that really cool. We didn't even know. None of us knew that.
Yeah.
And it was like badass when he won. So
that's what's cool about FXRs is that it lends itself to have a little bit more context behind it. Like there's a story. There's things like that.
The dude that won one year with the trike, with the sidecar on a blue bike with an S&S motor, who I just seen in Daytona for Daytona a month, not even a month ago, 2 weeks ago. His whole story, he had that bike since brand new. He's paralyzed. He keeps his wheelchair in the sidecar. He put the big 124 in it. Like, he's had that bike for 8 years or whatever, since day one. Ridden it hundreds of thousands of miles and he's paralyzed. It's fucking dope as fuck. And Daryl Huxell picked him. Nice. That was his pick. And the bike's a minty ass 93 convertible, you know? So anyway, so when I practiced trying to pick a bike, I just couldn't do it, man. So I was like very nervous about this whole situation. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna fucking do, man. And when I got there, I didn't know prior, believe me. When we were all there at the show and I'm walking around looking at all the bikes, the same fucking thing was happening to me. I wanted to pick Ramjet's bike, and I wanted to pick Dennis's bike, and I wanted to pick all of these bikes.
Speed Dealer came out with his.
Yes, correct. Of course, bro. His bike's fucking hard as Frank's the shit. That dude is so tight. So all these bikes, how do you pick? I couldn't do it again. And then I got my easy way out. I was like, oh, I know what I'm doing. Those 3 dudes were there. They were all buzzing because they just completed the Triple Crown. It was just them 3 that year. And no one gives this any fucking acknowledgement. No one would have said a word to them. They knew it, but no one would even have brought it up if I didn't. And it all made perfect sense to me. I'm like, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. So, and their bikes were all 3 nice, by the way. Cowboys, Sean's bike had the whole fucking Poseidon thing, the
squid looking.
How you say every bike has a story. That bike looked like it came from under the ocean. A lot of people don't know this. That's why it's painted like that. It literally was a rusted. There's not controversy. There's lore around that bike that it was underwater, that it came from a flood. It may even have actually had. But it was a rusted out piece of shit. It was horrible. 82. So Sean fully restored it, and when it came time for the paint, that's why he put that octopus, because it looked like it came from under the sea. That's what the story is with the bike. And then Tibbs, Kevin O'Neill's bike, was the really bright green. But they're all really nice bikes. It just happens that they rode these really nice bikes across the country a bunch. So it was like a win-win-win-win-win situation every which way. It gave me a place. I got to highlight guys that did the Triple Crown and actually give them something to hang on the wall for what they did. And then their bikes are show bikes in my world. They're really badass. So, I mean, it just made fucking sense. So then this last year, it was a no-brainer for me. And now it's just going to continue. That's just going to be my niche in that I'm just going to do, because I can't pick no one bike. I'll definitely put my opinion on the absolute bike, on our overall pick, like we did this year. But nah, man, I can't just pick one bike.
This year I bitched out. I drove up there just for the FXR show and the day before, because me and my wife were doing a little family thing, because I was on the road for a month.
Yeah,
I was making up for some time.
Right.
And just there was so many bikes that came out, and so many bikes of people that I would have 100% picked alone. The Dennis bike that you were talking about, Corey Maindrive's bike, Frank's. Like, there was just so many bikes there, and then there was a couple of them that were kind of like, I didn't even know they were coming. Nigel's bike I actually dig quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, like, I don't know. And I had to do a helmet for Lichter, so I didn't actually have enough time to do a helmet for that show. So I was thinking, like, what could I do? What could I give away? But I didn't have anything. I was like, I'm just gonna step out of this one this year. I just ran out of time with everything, you know, because I was on the road for a month, and then I came home for a week, and then I went to Covington's to paint bikes for 2 weeks,
right?
And then I come home for a week, and then we're on this trip,
right? Yeah.
So I had, you know, just no time to get shit done.
Yeah, well, yeah. So for me, I'm glad it worked out like that because I can't pick no one bike. There's no way. I never would be able to do that.
Yeah,
it'd be hard. I could.
That whole concept though, like the way he does it, the way people are highlighting the achievements of something within the FXR community, I think that's good, and it kind of really preserves the what this is. You know what I mean? Well,
it gives the guys a place that really do care about the building aspect, the show aspect of this. That's like, you guys just said this on the podcast, that Sturgis is where the fucking badass FXRs turn out. Our jams are more just to show up. It's not a show.
Yeah.
So the guys that really are Dennis's and stuff that are really trying to build something to showcase who they are, what they can do, that's not a place for really. It is a place for them, but there's no accolade. There's no.
You got to, it's the people. It's who you are that shines at a jam.
Yeah. It's just to come and nerd out, man. It's just more of to get the fuck away from all that.
Yeah.
It's actually to get away from it. That's a good way to put it. I never thought of. It's the anti-show. It's not a show. It's like your camp out. That's an anti-industry thing. That's just a down home. It's just a fucking meetup of a bunch of friends meeting together to party together for the weekend. Not about who you are, what you done, what you built. We don't give a fuck what rolls in there.
Yeah.
Like if you come on a Honda, you're gonna have a good time. Like that's all it's for.
Cody rode his big wheel last year.
There it is, man. We gotta love Cody. That's another solid dude. You're so blessed with the guys that you got in your group as well.
Yeah.
I've come to love all of those guys, man. You got a fucking, man, that's the best group, man. I mean, all those dudes, man. Yeah, every single one of them people that you guys have been riding around the country with, that like all the guys I met in Boston and stuff, fucking
dude,
badass.
We
dudes,
still
man.
Tell stories of your stories in Boston.
Oh yeah,
just couldn't fucking stop laughing in that fucking house, dude.
Oh yeah, I've got some.
Did you go to the town with us that night, or did you just meet us at the?
I met. We had dinner somewhere, and then we went back to that little townhouse or whatever that was, or Airbnb, and kicked it for a while. And I don't know what I did after that. I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
I think I left and just went back to where because I was right down the road, and I was in Massachusetts. I was going back to my spot. I was trying to hang for Laconia. I'm going to Laconia this year, finally, for sure, no questions. I'm going to
just hanging out after the East Coast.
I'm going to Rob LaFlame. He's one of our wild hogs. He's world class dirtbag.
Okay,
yeah. So he rides a Ruby Red. He has a bunch of FXRs, but he was out there in Daytona making a ruckus, and I sat down for dinner with him. He has a really badass Eric Puglia
paint job.
Yeah, he has a blue Eric Puglia's paint job, and they were down there in Daytona, and that bike got shown off. I think it won some little something somewhere too. It's a sick bike. And so I sat down with him and had dinner and locked it in that I'm going to his house after the jam, and he lives right there in Mass, and I'm going to hang for a week there. Between the jam is 1 week between there and Laconia.
Oh, that's perfect.
Oh yeah, I'm going to go chop it up with him. We're going to barbecue. He loved to cook. So
you doing Born Free this year?
We're going to eat. The Texas or Cali?
Cali.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think I come straight home to that.
Yeah.
If it's in June again, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a late June.
Okay, then I'll come straight home to that. I'll probably come riding
Coming
straight from there to there. Yeah, I mean, but I'll be home. That's home. Even though NorCal up here is home. That's as long as I'm in this state. This is my state, man. I'm good.
Yeah, I've had fun there the last couple of years that I've gone. It's
Born Free.
It's just kind of opened up to. I know more people now, and I feel like I get a chance to connect with people better than
That's what it's good for.
You know,
everybody's there. I mean, I see people from out of the country that I don't usually see at that.
Dude, we got people that are coming from like Australia and shit to the camp out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Trip. Well, that's rad. They should, man. There's not a lot of events like that that I know of. I think there are, but they're more based around the chopper.
There definitely
scenes.
is.
The chopper guys are who's mostly doing all that.
You met Cruzy and them yet?
Yeah,
those guys they just had a party this last weekend.
It's weird to me that everyone talks about Cruzy not liking FXRs because that's where he got put on my radar almost 15 years ago in the FXR world.
See, I kind of wanted to put him on the tour to make him build an FXR, so he'll have to.
He used to do it. I don't know what the fuck people are talking about. I don't know where.
I think he does it for just
publicity or whatever, just to be
shit.
an asshole. Yeah, he is like kind of a jokester, you know. He's always fucking around, but no, man, he was in the FXR page. Serious though, not in there joking.
Yeah.
Like he used to be on that FXR's of California page. He built, I'll tell you right now, I'll tell you their exact bike. He built this gray. It was just gray and it had this neon green fucking speckled, like it was kind of a trippy paint job. It went into dots. It looked like it was, what am I trying to, stippled.
Yeah.
But it was like dark, solid green band and then faded into the dots all the way tapered out.
Okay, I know you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it was weird. You seen this bike before?
No, I know the concept of
he
what
built that. That was 12 years ago, bro. That he built that, and it was on the FXR page. And he didn't unveil it. He wasn't joking, talking no shit or nothing. He was very serious about that bike, and he had built a couple FXR. He was in that world. So I don't know when all of a sudden he decided. I don't know if it's him saying this, but that's what people tell me all the time about this guy. That guy hates FXRs. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about, because I know him to like FXRs.
I think that he's just around all the stunt world right now.
Yeah,
and
he's
all
pushing
those,
them Softail bikes or something, right?
I mean, he's really pushing this Dynas. I mean, Dynas is kind of like his thing, you know, because that's what they do on him, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's like everybody's got to have their
I don't know, man.
their guy, you know.
It's
I mean,
what-
who else is out there fucking just in love with Dynas? They could be. Who's the you of the dyno world? You know what I'm saying? If anybody, maybe it is Cruzy.
I guess.
And
I don't know anybody that pushes dynas like that. I know dudes, but not that they're out there.
Yeah,
My boy Kevin Wada, that was Dana's actually her old man back in the day. Big boy. He loves dynas. He has a bunch of bad ones, and he thinks, and he has an FXR4 that he's had for years and he will never get rid of. And he thinks that dynas, he likes them better. But my boy's pushing 500, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe they ride different for his body type, you know? He's a big boy. He'll wheelie too, bro. You want to, that shit looks crazy. That's a big man, and he'll fucking just rip a wheelie up. No
Like
problem.
I've seen him like on a video before doing it.
Oh, they used to be Big Teddy out here on
okay.
a white dyna.
Yeah,
Built
yeah.
pretty much the same. But no, Kevin Watt is the same thing. He snaps axles and shit. Seriously. He's done it multiple times, bro. Dude's a savage. Yeah, so I don't know, man. I'm still in my FXR world. So yeah, that's a Triple Crown though. I did want to talk about that a little bit because a lot of people hear it, but they don't really know what's going on with that. We really want to push that this year. I want people to start getting involved, man, that are FXR dudes and come into these events and coming across the country. You know, we'll get a couple West Coasters that go to the East Coast, but I don't ever get any East Coast guys coming out west. So
Yeah.
I'm on here right now publicly saying, fucking don't quit bitching up and come out here. Chris Harry, this is
Oh,
a direct call out. I know you
man.
just had your kids and shit, but bro, we're trying to see you on the West Coast this year. God damn it, you've been promising me for 7 fucking years that you're gonna come out here and still ain't stepped foot in my state yet. So where are you at, man? God damn it. He's been doing so good. He's even just got promoted in his job and shit again. And if I do that tour, I want him on there too, though.
So he was one of the guys that. So you know,
I want him
for
and me to
context,
both be on there.
we had me and Justin sat down and made a list of like 20 or 30 people.
Yeah.
And every person that we contacted the first time that we didn't think that was gonna go for it, like fuck yeah, I'm in. Like
Right.
not one person
So
denied.
the first 10 calls,
Yeah.
all said,
All.
let's do this shit.
Yeah, so then I was like, well, fuck, all
not.
right. And then it's like, well, you know, we even talked like, do we need to put 20 people on it?
Yeah.
But then it's like,
no, that's way too much.
It just-
that wouldn't have
yeah.
been cool at all.
because then,
Would
you
have just
know,
watered it down. You got to be able to focus on these only 10 guys. You know,
Yeah.
20 people there, you're gonna get lost in the mix. You're gonna have the big guys and then a bunch of other motherfuckers.
yeah,
that
we
no
want
one
this to
even
be an
cares.
opportunity for the smaller shops or the smaller brands or the smaller people to just get a chance to get some limelight on them.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like what we're trying, I mean, our job, like my job and Justin's job, other than making something for this as well, going forward is to create as much hype and bring as much attention to it so that everybody involved gets the most exposure, which I know people cringe at that word, but they get the most attention for what they're doing and what's going on in here. So it'll
Yeah.
be to where people want it. They'll see this as an opportunity to get a stepping stone within their career. That's
Right.
the hope.
Right.
And that's what Biker Build Off was a long time ago.
Yeah.
That's what getting a magazine used to feel like. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
So-
to the people that want that. I got to put it out there. I would purely just be there just to be involved in it, just because I think it's cool or whatever. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think I need that stuff. I'm not trying to build no big thing, you know. I still
you
only
just
make
want people
t-shirts.
to. I mean,
I just have a love
it's a
of
respect
it,
thing.
man.
It's also it's how you pay your respects back to this by going to the FXR show, by going to the jams, by all this stuff keeps this thing alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, I mean, you're not gonna know if you, you know. I talked about this on here before. I hear people talking all this shit about like this FXR community and stuff, and they're people I don't ever even see. Like, you're living it on the internet, Holmes. That's not the where to be. You know, that's not. I don't know, man. Get out there and break bread with us. Like meeting Chandler, that story is fucking amazing, bro. Again, we had the best weekend of our lives, and you ain't getting that on the internet. I don't give a fuck. You're not going to go to those swimming holes, which we went back to this year, you know, and fucking, my whole Hogs group, man. Oh, man, I just want to shout them dudes out 1,000 times on this thing because I'm so happy to have some friends that do it. I do compare it to your guys' situation a lot. We got a solid core group of dudes that mob, you know. There's a couple even hogs in there that aren't contributing a lot these days, and you can't kick people out of a group chat.
Yeah.
They have to leave. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but you don't want to create drama. I
don't give a fuck about no drama. If I don't want you, you know, if you're not contributing, get the fuck out. You know, if you don't want to be here, then kick rocks.
Well, maybe
man.
they've heard this.
Well, I hope they do and know either kick in or kick out or get out. You know, because a couple dudes made it in and just faded out, and that's not. You know, I only want
that happens in all different societies.
Of course, yeah. But there's dudes in our chat that just don't contribute nothing, and I don't even know why they would even be there. I see their little bubble pop up like they're coming down on all of our posts and looking at shit. I don't ever hear nothing, you know, or nothing like that. Like, come on, man, fucking. Yeah, coming on this, it's been a curse for me since I've done this since the very beginning. Anybody I've ever shouted out, I never liked them after. It's fucking weird. It's happened a lot. It's kind of strange. It's like a curse. Like I said this time, like I had that list last time I did this, and I shout out all kinds of people on the list, and there's a bunch of them that are still great humans, but a bunch of those people I don't even fuck with. Yeah. You know, like I mean, I'll rep, like, it's funny, but I think about like what shirt I'm gonna wear and stuff. Yeah. And I'll run Roger shit. I'll shout slab sides out all day because that's going to be my homeboy forever because that motherfucker's solid, you know? I don't have to trip on him, but there was people I had just met, and I'm like, yeah, this guy's cool and shit. Oh, man, I don't fuck with so many people now. Like, girls, too. And
the Roger thing, we were talking about it, remember? Yeah. Just so everybody here to listen knows, like, I've tried to do podcasts with Roger quite a bit. Yeah. Almost every time we come through, and he's a busy dude, and there's so many things going on at his shop, there's no way that things could be still long enough to do a podcast. So maybe one day if I get a chance to like be in his town, staying with him or something like that.
Spend a few days, go out to his ranch and just post up.
Yeah, exactly. You know? But, you know, with me passing through, it's like, you know.
That's when you get him on the weekend. He takes the weekends off. He'll usually have little house parties and bonfires out at his ranch and shit. You get up in his big old shop right there and set it up, man, and get it. You know?
I need to make
that's one of my dear friends, man. That kid, I've always had love for him. We've never had no bad problems. You know, we rode to Born Free together one year. That was awesome. You know who I have to shout out on here though? My mom. Because I did that last time. I had a list and I went through all these people. My mom was butthurt that I didn't fucking get. She listened to the whole thing. Hey, straight up, my mom's the baddest, bro. She would listen to that whole thing and she goes, "Hey, motherfucker, you know, you forgot someone on your list, dude." I'm like, "No, I think I did pretty good. I got everybody I think I want to say." She's like, what about me? I'm like, "Okay, well, if I ever do a podcast again, Mom, Jill, I'm shouting you out. You're my number one." So yeah, make sure I say that. She's like, "Fuck all these people. I brought you into this shit, fool." I got a picture over there on that wall. You won't really be able to see it, but that's my little family section right over there.
I see it with the...
Yeah, all of us. That's our family. Me, Marty's on there. That family photo over there, fucking funny, bro. We got the lion shaved in our head and shit. That's back in a long time ago. Yeah, there's that's another Triple Crown award over there. I got on the wall and shit. I was going to grab some things because I knew this would be a video and like have some photos and props and things over here, but I figure, fuck it, man. We'll just bullshit.
Well, we did kind of, you know, we're actually running almost time now, but we yeah, when I got here, it's like, fuck, you know, I'm a day early right now because it's supposed to be yesterday.
A day early and early in the day.
Yeah. And, yeah, I mean, I'm playing all this by ear. I was supposed to do a podcast with Taylor Schultz, and I was like, hey, man, I'm coming in a day early. Can you, work? He's like, I can only do it after 1 p.m. on Monday. And I'm like, man, I'm literally passing your shop now.
Yeah.
Like I could probably hang out here tonight and catch you in the morning. But he was like, but if I do it at 1 o'clock in Santa Rosa, like there's no way I'm going to get back over here. It's gonna add a day to my trip.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, because I still got SoCal, San Diego, Phoenix to go, and I'm trying to be home Monday.
It don't matter to me. I make my own schedule.
Yeah,
that's just the way I live.
Well, a lot of people are being very accommodating that. Some people, they're not. Like it's. And I have to really work around their schedule. And, sometimes those are the guys that really don't know, like me or the podcast. They're just doing it because, of the invite or whatever.
Right.
And, and that's fair. Like I said, I'm not, like, tripping on that. But I need to, like, going to SoCal, like, I'm trying to talk to some heavy hitters of like, brands, names and shit. So it's like, got to try to be accommodating, but also got to try to be, like, carry myself with enough confidence to let them know, like, bro, like, I really want to have you on, but I don't. Yeah. I can go somewhere else. There's plenty of people here to talk to.
Right, yeah.
So if you need me to stay here till 7 p.m. and, and then I just, the more accommodating, the easier, because this is a lot of fucking work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Well, like I said, man, I pride myself on being my own boss, and I run my shit no matter what. Nobody tells me a fucking thing.
Yeah.
So if I need to move my schedule, which whatever, I don't have no schedule, shit, I'll probably leave here. I don't know. I'll do whatever the fuck I want. I might work on some bikes. I don't know. I got some things I could do. I got some new parts in yesterday and shit. That's I built this blue bike right here. It's got a 135 in it, and it's really been giving me a hard time. Fucking Boosted Brad, I see him in Daytona. I'm trying to pick his brain because his bike has a 143 motor in it. Mine's only a little 135, and he has some of the same components and shit that I do on his bike, and his bike starts good. My bike fucking keeps kicking back and breaking shit. I took it all the way to Daytona, had to bring it all the way home because it's breaking parts. And my buddy that's buying it was like, nah, bro. I said, dude, take it wherever you want to take it, and I'll pay the bill to fix it. And he's like, no, I want to fix by you. I want us to do this deal. I don't, So anyway, I'm kind of having to go back on the not drawing board, but I'm going to do some surefire fixes to it to make sure it's perfect. But this is stuff I've never had to do. I'm putting parts on that are like extra heavy duty, big boy shit that stock shit works fine for me usually, but not on this bike. This motherfucker's too beast, It's kind of outside the realm of what I do, but I had to try it. That 135 motor, like
what is it? What's
it's a Jim's crate motor, full on Jim's race motor. You get it from Harley. It's got 11-to-1 compression, 660 cams. They're Harley Davidson cams. It's it's a twin cam with Evo mounts. So it's called a Tweevo. So it has a twin cam motor, but Evo style mounts. So bolts right into the bike with no fabrication whatsoever. And the motor actually fit. It's massive though. It takes up every square inch of the frame without having to modify the frame. It couldn't be any bigger.
Yeah.
There's no room either side, pieces of paper to fit through everywhere. But it fits and it rides good, and once it's running, it's badass. But to get it running is a motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
So that's what's been going on.
Well, dude.
Yeah.
We did another one.
I'm good. Yeah. I don't know what I feel
if we would have
like
been drinking
so much
whiskey,
I wanted to say.
This would have been a 4-hour podcast.
Yeah.
Or if I was talking about trading buttholes for bikes on Craigslist.
I don't remember that conversation, but
that was I wasn't really in that conversation. That was you and Mark talking.
Oh, wait, let's get into some drama then. You did a podcast with the guys recently, and you said Joe Kidd got me into some shit or whatever, but he said, I still love you, Joe. But I want to know what I did, because you did it, I think, and I want to know what you think I did.
It was gross on my part, right? I was drunk.
I don't know if it was gross.
It was just
that word.
Yeah, it was just like I was leaning on the
taste or whatever.
I was leaning on the energy that you brought to the shop.
Of course, yeah.
So
yeah.
I just forgot that we were live instead of like.
So let me tell you then my take.
All right.
I knew better.
Yeah, I was drinking fast.
So it was funny how it all worked out, and I knew better.
Yeah.
I knew that these. I'll jump in the fire with you now this time, okay? I knew these feminist fucking little broads that are just got no identity and just want to go after someone and all. I knew they'd be coming if I would have even entertained it. So I flipped script on you and was like, I'm not going to look at naked pictures of. Yeah, I'm not going to look at
dude. Every chick that rode a bike just spit their drink and popped out. Yes,
I became. Yeah, the patriarch for the matriarchs or whatever. I was the voice of the women all of a sudden, and I don't give a fuck about none of that. I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm a fucking badass man biker, dude. At the end of the day, so. It was really sweet that all these girls said, "Oh, Joe, he's a really good guy," and all this and that. And I am, and I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna just be foolish and just say some shit that's just way out for the sake of it. I am. I was genuine, but the whole point of that is that you ladies got bamboozled because I fucking knew better. That's why I didn't say shit. Of course, I want to see this broad naked. I don't give a fuck. Either way, if she rides, she doesn't ride, she's naked. I'll look at her titties, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, the reaction that they gave you was fucking shit. Was dumb.
Well, yeah, it was. I mean, like I said,
too extreme.
It was like when you watch it, being sober the next day and seeing like, oh, dude, I don't care. Even the context before that just was dumb on my part, right?
I just crab crawled right backward right out of that. I was like,
so I deleted that part out of the video,
good.
But it was after these chicks made memes about it.
Oh, it went everywhere.
But it was like,
and I knew they were gonna. As you were talking, I just had the
you
epiphany.
saw it coming.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I wasn't drunk. I was like.
I was drinking whiskey.
For the sake of it, I was like, nah, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to do something different and just kind of, and even your facial, because I did see it before. I think it got deleted or something, but even your facial expressions, you're looking at me like, what's this dude doing right now? And I just knew. I didn't know what would happen. I just had this weird idea that I was like, you know what?
I feel like what it felt like was like, when you're a kid, I'm talking like before 15 and you're out doing something with your homies and then y'all get caught by the cops and cops like, what are y'all doing? And you're like, well, me and my friend, and your friend's like, I just got here. Yeah. All of a sudden now you're like, what the fuck? We were just here together.
Yeah. That's how I felt is like you got caught and you were like, hey, motherfucker. Come on, get caught with me. And I'm like, nah, dog, I'm slicker than you. I ditched it. Sorry. Sorry about that. But
I can't be mad at that, but I had to say something because it's like, this motherfucker left me out to dry, but I put myself out there like that.
It was your fault.
I know.
You grabbed the magazine. You did all.
I should have never put the magazine on the floor.
You brought that into our conversation. You're mad at me because I was smart enough to be like, nah.
Does she ride?
No.
Do you see your tits? Like, no, who cares?
Yeah, and I'm like, no, I can't see that. No, I'm not looking. Shit. Yeah. All you women don't get it twisted, man. We're fucking men. Leave us the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Just ride your bikes and shut the fuck up. You don't have to post every gas station you ride to, every food you go to eat, every fucking place you be. We don't do that dumb shit. You want to be equal and like us, then fucking leave it alone, man. God. Anyway, there you go.
But they ride.
I don't give a shit.
I'm just trying to reverse you.
What their tits look like.
Oh, I'm gonna get redeemed on this one.
See, I'm doing you a solid. All right, I'm fucking coming down from my place of grace with all the ladies and being like, nah, I'm just doing this to fuck around, man. I don't know. I didn't never feel bad either about it though. I was like, fucking Jace.
Well, I just didn't. It was kind of difficult because. What's weird is like I think I carry myself pretty well, outside of my house with my wife around other women, and things like that, and
it's gotta be tough being you.
To get told no, not like that. No, I just like I'm not trying to do any of that shit.
Yeah,
like
I feel
you know what I'm saying. So it's like when you get this label, all of a sudden
I know
it's like
it wasn't right.
Whoa,
yeah.
I mean. I usually get women that ask to be on the podcast that literally are just hot chicks.
Yeah.
you know, that have followings.
Yeah,
They're
I've
like,
heard,
hey,
we've talked about this before, actually.
you know, and then I try to find women that are like riding
Relevant.
bikes,
Yeah, they're actually
or they have
relevant.
some skills, or they're doing something. That way, there's actually something to talk about.
Of course.
And then some girls that I think are doing rad shit right now, but they chose to try to cancel me on that, and they'll never get on this fucking podcast.
Right.
And they don't need to. They're doing fine. But fuck them.
That shit was fucking funny, though, actually, to me. It was like, I knew it was going to happen, and then it happened, and then I was like, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. I kind of knew. I was like, I felt really smart. Like, yeah, Joe, you did good on that one. You fucking...
You dodged the bullet.
Straight, yeah, I didn't jump in. So, yeah, so there you go, though. I have always, I want to make sure you know that same team. I don't know.
Well, don't dig you a hole now, because I'm not going to help you.
I don't care. I want to put it out there that I don't know what I'm not really trying. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Fuck no.
And neither
man.
am I.
No, that's what I wanted to say. We're all, that's more so actually what I am. That's exactly what the sentiment is right here. What I'm trying to say is that you were wrongfully accused. You didn't do nothing. Fucking, I made it worse by not, supporting
Co-signing
the idea or whatever.
Yeah.
But you ain't no different. You're actually a lot better than probably a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so, back the fuck down. I know that's past now. That's not a thing anymore. But I was like, this isn't even warranted, man. I know some dirty ass dirtbag motherfuckers. Go fuck with them. Like, leave this dude alone, man. He's got a nice wife and a nice life. Leave this cat alone. He ain't doing nothing wrong to nobody.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It didn't get bad. It kind of died off.
You didn't need to hear anything.
I'm smart enough not to throw gas on fires. You know what I'm saying? I let that shit just burn out.
Let it fizzle out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now.
Oh, it's coming back now.
Well, Joe, man, thank you, dude. I've had it's been a great.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming.
I think it's good, man. Having Chandler on, and then Brian, and then you. It's going to be a good mix of having their kind of perspective of this world that they've come into along with you. And I think it's going to be a great little trifecta of a podcast with you guys.
You know what they say? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Yeah.
Well, I led them to water, and they fucking jumped in.
Nice.
And thank God. And I'm sure they told you that we've been having the fucking... It's been sick. And I can't wait to see everybody that listens to this podcast. I can't wait to see everybody out there. We'll be at the camp out. We'll be down at the pig pen right there by the water and the hog pen, fucking doing hog shit, riding our bikes. And we'll be in Dallas pre-partying, and probably at the firehouse with Trey again, which is a dope-ass spot. And we'll see you guys everywhere, man. We'll be in Sturgis. The hogs are going to be everywhere. We're everywhere. Mm-hmm. So, real quick then, before we get off here, let me shout out. Let me shout out the hogs right here. So we got Abdul, we got Bill, Brian, Don, DJ, Chandler, Hoggish. We got Jet. We got Jimmy Skids, Joey Barella. We got John Beach. We got J.R. Cottle. We got Little Marty. Mike Shenanigans, Mike Garcia. We got Omar. We got, that's Dwayne. I pretty much shouted out all these guys. Ruben. We got Rich Durkin. Rob Malahy. Royal Slater. It's my dog. It's my hog. Sean Rosendahl. Jeff, Wide Open. And World Class Dirtbag, I think I already said almost every one of those dudes. So,
hell yeah,
shouted out my guys. Those are my guys, man. That's the Wild Hogs right there. So when you see us, shit, let's pour it up, have some fun.
All right, bud. Thank you.
Right, later.
Appreciate it, man.